Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Impact Arena for our live watch-along as Alfreton Town take on Leamington in the National League North. This is the final game at the Impact that will be under the lights this year. Final Tuesday night fixture of the 24-25 campaign in the league. Obviously, the reverse fixture this season was also played under the lights over in Leamington. That ended in a 2-2 draw with a last-minute goal from Jed Abbey when he was in that free-scoring form earlier on at the start of the season. Alfreton Town currently sits 18th in the league. Leamington slightly higher in 13th. They've relatively, I don't think mathematically, but pretty much secured safety for the remainder of the season. Alfreton Town, the conversation is still there to be had whether they'll be drifting into that drop zone for the final few games of the season. But as it stands, there are teams beneath them, and tonight is a real opportunity to get 3 points and rebuild that confidence in the squad. Obviously, Alfreton's record against Leamington is a pretty impressive one. Since 2016, Alfreton have won 8 fixtures, losing 3 and drawing 1. Leamington haven't beaten Alfreton since 2018 at the Impact Arena, so a good omen perhaps for the game, but given the recent run of form, I wouldn't be too inclined to be encouraged by that, but it's something to claw at a positive. Matty, what are your thoughts on the game this evening?
I think the most important thing going into tonight's game is we cannot have a repeat of Saturday up at Charlie. For me, showing up to that game at 45 minutes late, we didn't show up until the second half. We started so poorly, and that's reflected in conceding in the first 90 seconds of the match, 20 minutes in as well, them doubling their lead. And once again, it was those kind of balls into the box set pieces that have bounced and we've not dealt with. And just, in the short-term memory, I think that was 2 goals on Saturday from balls bouncing in our box and us not getting rid of them. One against Oxford City, one against Scunthorpe. The goals we're conceding are the goals we're looking to score usually, where we put that ball into the box and it bounces and we pounce on it. But it seems to just all be reversed. But I think it's really important that we come out tonight and we start strong, because that was what was missing on Saturday. The second half performance, by all means, was good. It was impressive. We created chances and we caused them problems. But the thing is, you're climbing a hill then, because you're 2-0 down and you've got to try and salvage something from the game. And to be honest, that could be due to the fact that they probably take the foot off the pedal a bit 2-0 up, because we made it so easy for them. And it's about time. We need to get 3 points under our belts somewhere. We need to get a home win in 2025, because right now we're riding the coattails of a good, impressive start to the season, and that is ultimately what is keeping our heads above water at the moment. But you look at the form, what was it, 2 wins in 18, possible 54 points. We've got 9. That is relegation form, as hard as it is to say, and it's so hard to say things like that and look at it, because I've come to these games and I've left thinking we've played pretty well tonight. We've not, but it just hasn't been falling, and something needs to change. So hopefully that change can start tonight. A win under the belt, a win under the lights, and the first win at the Impact in 2025. And I think if we get that, I'm kind of leaning back in my chair a bit and letting out a big sigh of relief.
Yeah, well, fingers firmly crossed. Tonight is a night where, it looks to be that Alfreton have got the chance to finally get that 3 points at the Impact Arena in 2025 that has eluded them thus far as we approach April for, the kind of all the good performances that we've had, like you say, had a slightly unfortunate run of fixtures perhaps, where those kind of couple of weeks where we were putting in solid performances, it just so happened to be when we were playing against the better teams. The likes of Scunthorpe and Brackley, those matches stick out in particular, where Brackley, we made it really tough for them. Scunthorpe the same, and we had the chance that hit the bar in that one. If that goes in, it's a different game, as cliche as it is. But then we come away from each game, and we start sort of each stream before each game with this kind of similar conversation that eventually something's got to click, and it kind of started with us feeling like we weren't having that bit of luck and those chances come our way, and having the kind of rub of the green with those opportunities in front of goal. But then it happened against Darlington. We had countless opportunities in the first half, finally made it count, had the lead, and obviously then in the second half, as the game progressed, Darlington put bodies forward. We looked to sit back a little bit, put men behind the ball, and just crawl over the line with those 3 points. And then even in that game, that's not to be. They find a late equaliser, and they were good value for the draw, but it just continues the wait. And it was one of those where if you'd have looked at that result perhaps in isolation, disregarding the rest of the form. You know, you look at that draw and you go, oh, that's not too bad. Some good performances against top teams, they're not too bad. But when it coincides with the results around it, it doesn't make for good reading. And like you say, it's tough to say this sort of thing. You don't want to have a pessimistic view, and that's why we kind of come into these games every single time with that little bit of optimism and thinking, you know, tonight could be the night that it finally clicks for Billy Heath's side. And obviously Saturday was not the ideal display, certainly in the first half. And I think you made the point on the live stream in that game that, you know, the second half performance was good, but it's no good turning up to a game after 45 minutes because the work for Chorley was done in the first half, getting those 2 early goals. And they were from situations that, as you say, the ball bouncing in the box, not being dealt with defensively, so unlike the Alfreton that we've gotten used to over the past 2 or 3 seasons. It's been a team that's been built on defensive solidity, taking advantage of chances that you get against the opposition. And it just seemed like that was happening against us every week. And you could understand maybe why, you know, Alfreton looked to frustrate opponents across the last 2 seasons, and it's worked so well. But then we're the ones getting frustrated now with conceding those sorts of goals and those sorts of chances from set pieces especially. But yeah, tonight an opportunity for Alfreton to get back to winning ways. It's been a while, most certainly, but the previous win coming over Mickleover in the Derbyshire Senior Cup, and then obviously in the league, the last win in there against Scarborough away from home. So the teams do line up in the tunnel. About 3 minutes until kick-off here. We will run you through the sides as they enter the pitch. We have had the one change from the weekend, which sees Liam Waldock introduced into the side in place of Lewis Salmon, who drops to the bench. And we'll bring you the rest of the sides once the referee leads both teams out onto the pitch. He's had the ball handed to him by a young supporter, stood on the wall next to the tunnel that's been pulled out. But yeah, just a quick little run through of the teams. That's the only change in the squad, as well as Adam Anson coming into the team, into the squad, sorry, not into the starting lineup, in place of Akil Francis, who misses out. And as the teams now do enter the pitch, we'll run you through the sides. Alfreton in their usual all-red home strip, Leamington in their all-blue away kit, so in between the sticks for the Reds tonight. Number 37, George Sykes-Kenworthy. We reckon it'll be a back four of Josh Claxton, Max Hunt, Captain Dwayne Wiley and Nathan Newell. And then the midfield with Adam Lund at the base of it, Liam Waldock coming in and Jed Abbey alongside him. And that screams of some attacking intent to me. Obviously, George Cantrell missing out through suspension with that 3-game ban after accumulating over 10 yellow cards. Owen German, to his credit, has come in and done a very, very solid job. Got that man of the match against Darlington in the midfield role, but he misses out tonight in favour of Liam Waldock and Jed Abbey. And then the front three, Sam Osborne and, or perhaps actually, thinking about it, Jed Abbey
will be out on the wing.
Will probably be out on the wing, because Owen German, we've only seen him play in midfield. So perhaps German alongside Waldock in that midfield, with Jake Day up top, Sam Osborne on the wing alongside Jed Abbey. I think we'd assume that's been the shape that we've gotten used to. We've spoken recently about the kind of shift to a diamond and a 3-back against Brackley, but we'd be led to believe it's still the standard 4-3-3. And then on the bench for the Reds, number 5, Adam Anson, 11, Lewis Salmon, 24, Jerry McDonough, 29, David Solademi, and 33, Luke Mattison.
Yeah, and for our visitors tonight is number 1, Callum Hawkins in goal, number 2, Daniel Meredith, number 6, Robert Evans, number 7, Henry Landers, number 8, Adam Walker, who captains the side, number 10, Jack Edwards, 12, Will Shorrock, 14, George Ward, 16, Gia Medrano, 17, Ewan Williams, 19, Anthony Lynn, and on the bench is 4, Matthew Richards, 11, Timothy Berridge, number 20, Jacob Humphreys, number 21, Joseph Clark, and number 24, Owen Farmer. And just as we wait for kick-off, I will preface the question in the chat.
Yes.
That there is a half-time quiz tonight. We have another true or false quiz lined up tonight where Quentin and Vaughan will take each other on. I will whack the a little reminder in.
Go for it. And I shall run you through proceedings as Leamington stand over the kick-off here at the Impact Arena, set to get things underway. The referee just taking his time before double-checking with both goalkeepers. Looks like it's going to be Will Sherrick to get things underway. I had to appear under your arm there for his number. But there is the whistle. Play starts here at the Impact Arena. Leamington look to go direct immediately. Owen German with the headed clearance. Meredith with the ball forward, headed away by Wiley. Day with the flick on. Meredith happy to see that one roll out for a throw for Leamington, and it's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out this evening. Obviously, Leamington coming into the match off the back of a 2-0 win at home to South Shields, an impressive result for the Breaks. Alfreton, as we've discussed many a time, still looking to get back to winning ways, and from that throw-in, Meredith chucks it down the line. Abbey and Lunda contesting the number 10 Edwards for that one, and the referee's whistle does go. The Jack Edwards goes to ground, draws that foul, and Leamington with an early opportunity to get the ball into the box, perhaps. The number 6, Robert Evans, stood over it on the right-hand side in the Alfreton half. Probably in the midfield third, you'd say. Evans waits for the referee's whistle. I don't think he's going to get it, but he'll take it anyway. It's a good ball in towards the back post. Sykes Kenworthy has to come a long way to deal with that one and punches it away, out of danger, out for a Leamington throw. Stayed down momentarily there. The referee thought about blowing his whistle, now does, I think, in order to wave the physio on, but just as he does that, Sykes Kenworthy's back to his feet and should be okay to continue. Good promising start from the goalkeeper. Had to come off his line there, deal with that set-piece scenario, did so, but he's got another one to contest now as the long throw comes into the box from Leamington. It's towards Max Hunt at the front post, who can't get it fully clear, but Jake Day eventually steps in to help him out and get that one far, far away, all the way into the Leamington half. And it's Robert Evans who picks it back up again for the Breaks. Looks to go direct from the centre circle, straight down the throat towards Sykes Kenworthy, but Max Hunt with the headed clearance, and Liam Waldock tries to further the clearance, and I think has taken a knock on the top of the head there, as the Leamington man, Ewan Williams, tried to battle for the ball completely fairly. No malice in the challenge whatsoever, but Liam Waldock with a donk to the face, and Ollie waved on quickly. I think the referee didn't hesitate at all to blow his whistle there, perhaps just as a precaution, but Liam Waldock would be a nightmare start for him if he ended up being forced off after being brought back into the side. And we're also seeing George Sykes Kenworthy with a breather that I'm sure he'll be happy to have. He was sort of limping a little gingerly there out of his 6-yard box, but Lewis Salmon sent out to warm up if Liam Waldock is to be withdrawn. I think it might be a blood issue. Ollie's dabbing his face, dabbing his nose, and I guess that would imply, or that would be the explanation as to why the referee's whistle went so instantly. Didn't take time to assess the situation, just knew straight away to wave on the physio. So we'll see what pans out here. Waldock still sat on the ground, doesn't look to be in too much discomfort, but if it is going to be a case of stopping the blood flowing, obviously there might have to be a kit swap, and that's a lot of faff that the Alfreton team won't want early in the game. But Waldock is back to his feet and is going to have to sit out on the side of the pitch for just a moment before he's waved back onto the field of play, and the referee will restart things with a drop ball, and it will go the way of Leamington, and as I think they'll be adjudged to have been in possession at the time. But Owen German certainly going to contest it, as is Jake Day.
Well, who's watching this out here? Look how much space he's got.
Dan Meredith has drifted into acres of space on the
absolutely no one paying any
right-hand side. Jed Abbey and Nathan You'll both point at him, and I think Jed Abbey is now making his way over, but Evans clips the ball into the box from the drop ball scenario. Both teams contest for the set piece, but bounces just over the heads of both Max Hunt and Jack Edwards, straight out for an Alfreton goal kick. One for Sykes Kenworthy to take, and Liam Waldock is now waved back onto the pitch off the back of that, so should be all good for the Alfreton number 10. Seems happy and okay to continue. No blood on his shirt, which is always a bit of a nuisance, having to swap the kits around, but I think he's still got his number 10 shirt on. Sykes Kenworthy's goal kick, long towards Jake Day. It's won by Leamington, though, headed back forward by Claxton. Day looks to get it further away. Osborne attempts to keep it in. German the same, and I think his long ball clatters off of Jake Day and straight out for a Leamington throw. Not quite the action-packed start to the game that we possibly anticipated, but nonetheless, Leamington with the chance to launch the ball back into play now. From the halfway line on the left-hand side, it's tossed forward, headed away immediately by Max Hunt, back forward by Meredith, fully away by Wiley, looping over the Leamington back line, and Evans is forced to just nod that one out for a throw-in, the best he could do. Straight out for a Adam Lund throw right in front of the Alfreton dugout, a sight that those fans have gotten so used to across the years. Adam Lund comes on over to take the ball off of Solly in front of the dugout. The usual suspects head forward into the box. Riley and Hunt in there, Jake Day as well. Jed Abbey standing on the goalkeeper, Liam Waldock's on the edge. In comes the throw from Adam Lund towards the front post. Max Hunt tries his best to flick it on, but it's away by the Leamington back line, back into the box. Alfreton drops to the edge for Max Hunt. Tries to turn and lay it back into the wide area where he thought Adam Lund was waiting, but straight to a Leamington player in the end. And the clearance went all the way through to Nathan Newell, who has ended up winning the foul as he was facing back to his own goal. Was challenged by the Leamington forward, and there was just a little tap in the back, which is enough to send you over when you're running at that high velocity. Nathan Newell drops to the ground. Referee's whistle goes fairly quickly, so Alfreton will have a free kick in their defensive third, and it was Anthony Lynn, the man that put the arm on Nathan Newell, and isn't to be cautioned for his foul.
But I don't know what he's complaining about, because
it's a pretty textbook.
It's a fully extended arm in the back. They're nowhere near the ball.
Sykes Kenworthy's free kick is long towards Jake Day. Leamington eventually get this one clear. Up towards Lynn once again. Claxton beats him to that header. German nods it back to Wiley, who hoofs it upfield into the wide area where Osborne will give chase. But I think, he's
won a corner.
Won a corner, really done well. It looked like that Jai Morano might have done enough to just play it off of Sam Osborne and win the goal kick, but the linesman doesn't seem phased by that. Awards Alfreton in the corner, the first of the evening, so it will be Sam Osborne to take it as well. Former Leamington player, actually scored a brace against Alfreton a few years ago.
That was fantastic work from him, though. I think the player thought he could either shepherd it out or win a foul. Osborne managed to hook his leg round him and just flick the ball into the player's leg. Great determination.
Osborne, one arm in the air, delivered towards the edge of the box for Liam Waldock, who has to control it and let it back out to Osborne. Perhaps not the desired routine, but Alfreton still have the ball. Osborne gives it back to Waldock, and Alfreton forced back to the halfway line with Newell. Takes the touch with his left foot before trying to drive it back into the box. German flicks it on. Abbey might get there, but it's well claimed by the Leamington goalkeeper, Callum Hawkins. First real piece of work he's had to do this evening.
Poorly executed for me, that set-piece routine. Not only was the pass wrong for Liam Waldock to where he had to control it, he had to go back out to Osborne, and the Osborne gave him the ball back for him to try and cross it in, but the pass was bouncing. Waldock's touch wasn't good, didn't kill it, and then all of a sudden he was under pressure and had to look to go all the way back to the halfway line to bail himself out. Yeah,
and despite the Alfreton kind of managing to recycle that chance a little bit, it's never nice seeing your team win a corner, go back to the halfway line, and eventually come out without the ball. At Leamington look to go direct themselves. Alfreton respond with the clearance. Max Hunt up towards Jake Day. Good touch from the number 9 on the halfway line. Lays it off to Osborne, who's galloping forward on the right-hand side, but the touch from the winger gets away from him, and it's a simple clearance for Jai Morano. Goes straight through to the man in purple, Sykes Kenworthy, who quickly distributes, rolls it out to Max Hunt. Sets up that diagonal pass that we see from him so often up towards Day, chested down into the path of Waldock, goes back to Nathan Newell on halfway. Waits for the long pass, and I think he wanted Jed Abbey to make the run, but the winger was not obliging in that situation, so Leamington do clear it away, but Liam Waldock wins it back. Plays the 1-2 with Jake Day, and Liam Waldock progresses into the box, goes down under the challenge of Meredith. Referee uninterested in the appeals. Jed Abbey looks to keep it alive and cross it in from the left, but it's headed out by Leamington, and the referee takes a big tumble over a Leamington player, Jack Edwards.
He deserves that.
A lot of action here at the Impact. In about 10 seconds there, Alfreton think they may have a penalty as Liam Waldock made his way into the box, and the challenge came in from Daniel Meredith. In fact, I'm not even sure if it was much of a challenge, just his body being in the way. Waldock felt the contact and went down, but no whistle from the referee, and then 5 seconds later he took a tumble. Alfreton, though, looked to keep the pressure on. The cross from Claxton from the right-hand side is cleared and bounces out for an Alfreton throw in the end. That looked like it could be a penalty from up here, from our angle.
I mean, To me, I think that's Stonewall. I think it's absolutely Stonewall. Waldock does so well. Jake Day just leaves that ball for him, takes him with his momentum into the box. He gets there. He knows Meredith Diff is coming onto his left shoulder, so he shifts his body that way, so his body's in between him and the ball. The only thing Meredith can do is, if he makes contact, is take out Waldock, which is what happens. He comes across, he goes to go for the ball, realises he's going to wipe him out, tries to pull out his body. His momentum still takes him into Waldock, which results in Waldock going to the ground. The position Waldock's in there, he's absolutely never going to the ground unnaturally to try and win a penalty because it's on. The goal is there for him to shoot at. He would not go down there unless he was forced down. I think the referee's had a mare. Well,
Alfreton looked to respond to that with a throw-in from Adam Lund. It rolls all the way through to Max Hunt at the back post, but he gets his shot wrong. He doesn't catch it right. He did have a lot of time as it bounced through from the back post. The throw-in was to the front stick, flicked on by Wiley, bounced inside the box, and Max Hunt was well stationed at the back post to take that shot, but he doesn't quite get the desired connection. Sails out wide of the mark for a Leamington goal kick.
I don't understand why he's taking it first time on the side volley. Take a touch, set yourself. You've got so much time and space. All he needs is one touch, get the ball out in front of him, and just drill it across goal. But instead he kind of waits, angles his body, takes it early on the first time, and he can't get it under control, and it goes nowhere near the goal. And it's really a Gatwa free card for Leamington in taking it first time there.
Yeah, another opportunity though created for Alfreton in the opening stages, so promising signs from that perspective. But Leamington still in the game here at 0-0. Around 10 minutes in, they'll have a chance to throw the ball down the line from their own half. Forward it comes, aimed at Lynn but headed away. German looks to further the clearance, bounces inside of the play. Jake Day uses his body well, and Waldock goes down again.
Same thing, ref.
It's a textbook foul. It's going to be an early yellow card as well, I believe. I think the referee might have reached for it, although he kind of reached for his pocket and is now just using his arm. There is the yellow card. So the first booking of the evening goes the way of Leamington as Waldock looked to stride forward there off the back of receiving the ball. And the free kick's taken quickly, actually, but the referee's not happy with it. Looked like German would have had a chance to lay it in for Sam Osborne, but the referee wanted to pull that one back. He wasn't finished writing the player's name on his card, I think.
It's the same foul. It's the same foul as the one in the box. But because the players have done a bit of a tumble together, he's give the free kick. Waldock was taken down in the box just like he was taken down there, but that time the Leamington player went down with him, and that's why he's give it.
Ewan Williams on the receiving end of that yellow card brought down Waldock as he looked to break through after getting the ball off Dave, but Alfreton will have a free kick, and it's Osborne to take the formal break. And it comes from the right-hand side, the right-footed delivery towards Hunt at the back post, headed back into a dangerous area into the feet of Day, but he can't quite get a shot away.
Yeah, and definitely.
Yeah, rightfully penalised there for handball as he's tried to kind of recycle the play. Jake Day, as he brings the ball out from the kind of 6-yard area. Challenge comes in from a Leamington man, and the ball just bobbles up straight into the arm of Day. Fairly clear, it's hit his hand. The Leamington players appeal, and the referee agrees. Seemed like a sensible decision from up here, but a free kick nonetheless for Leamington inside their own box, taken by Hawkins. Goes long, looking for Edwards. Adam Lund beats him to the header, though. Goes straight up into the air, and Adam Lund eventually with another chance to clear. Evans knocks it back forward, aiming for Lynn again. Hunt with the header. Lund again with the clearance. Straight up into this dark sky. Eventually brought down again by Jake Day. Out wide to Claxton, knocks it around the corner for Osborne into a good area. Has to bring it down though, does well to beat his man and lay it back off to Josh Claxton. Tries to drive the pass infield towards Day. Jed Abbey looks to flick it through for Jake Day, and he takes the tumble. And I think not too much of a contentious decision really, as Jake Day looked to do everything to worm his way through beyond the Leamington back line, and in doing so throws himself into George Ward and puts both of them on the ground. The referee gives the free kick there to Leamington on the edge of their own box as Jed Abbey looked to flick the ball in behind as a result of that long ball from Claxton.
Yeah, he's got that decision right as well. Jake Day's got two hands kind of wrapped around his hips to try and slow the player down. We know Jake's not the quickest. He's not the one to run him behind. The defender had his number. He grabbed his hit, swung him round, got himself in front, but the referee's never going to look at that and go, yeah, nothing wrong with that, mate. He's always going to blow his whistle and pull it back, two hands, pulling the man back.
Well, Hawkins' goal kick did bounce out straight for an Alfreton throw. Adam Lund chucked it down the line. On this left-hand side, it's been nodded back out for a repeat. by the number 7 Henry Landers, who is technically the Leamington top scorer this season, which is a title owned by a man that now plays for Shrewsbury, Callum Stewart. Left the club in January for the League One side. You know, his 14 goals for the Breaks this season still has him top of their scoring charts, which would be an interesting one to have your top scorer be someone that left the club just after New Year. But Hawkins for Leamington drops the ball onto the edge of his box, looks to go direct, headed away powerfully by Wiley, and that was going to go straight through for Ward. And he's got plenty of time to either knock it back to Hawkins or restart the play himself. I think he's going to go alone. Eventually drops it back to Hawkins on the edge of his own box. Back across to Ward. Alfreton not pressing the back line, they're happy to sit deep. Although Jedabi now comes forward to press Meredith as soon as he receives the ball. And his long ball might work it all the way through for Landers. Adam Land, though, does come across to make the challenge. Waldock has to step in to avoid conceding possession there. And the number 10, Edwards, puts his foot in on Waldock a little late.
It's a really important touch from Waldock. It's so important because the pass out of the back is sloppy. And you know, if Edwards gets control of that ball, he's got space, he's going to set himself, he can have a go. And to be honest, knowing the way we've been at the moment, he'll probably score.
Yeah, Jack Edwards, a man with just the one goal this season, but a club legend really for Leamington. Been at the club permanently since 2017. Initially joined in 2014. Had a brief stint at Solihull before returning. But certainly not a man that you'd want to be given that kind of space. The Sykes-Kenworthy's free kick is long towards Day. The header is won by the number 9, but cleared away by Leamington. Rolls all the way through to Wiley at the back. Wiley calls out for Jed as he plays the long ball. It will find the feet of Abbey. Brings it down with his chest. Eventually does well to lay it off to Newell, who plays it into the feet of Day, who drifted over to the left a little. Now with Abbey again, inside to German. Has Clacton and Osborne both calling for it on that far side, and German finds Osborne with a great pass. Osborne looks to go beyond his man and find the cross, but eventually blocked and wins the corner again. Good work from the winger. And German as well to set him up. It's a nice forward pass, something that you complimented from Owen German when he first came into the side. Kind of that player in the midfield that receives the ball and he looks forward rather than looking backwards and tries to pick out an attacking pass, and he did so there.
Yeah, the safe option there is to just lay it off to Claxton. It's a 10-yard pass. He can play it along the floor. There's no danger. But he skips it out. He misses it out, and he just knocks it over the top for Osborne. And he catches Leamington out, really. And that gives Osborne a chance to run down the line.
And here is the corner from Osborne towards German at the back post, headed back into the area. Max Hunt can't quite set himself to shoot, and Leamington get that one clear. It was a much different setup to the previous corner that you saw from Alfreton, as all the Alfreton players ended up lining up sort of on the edge. Jedabi standing on the goalkeeper, and as Osborne began his run up, every Alfreton player on the edge ran into the box just to try and make it tougher for their Leamington players to mark. But as a result of that, Alfreton will have a throw on the left-hand side, launched in by Lund towards Hunt. It is flicked on into the body of Wiley, who tries to snap at it with a volley. Well, that's not his forte. Straight out for a goal kick from the captain's shot.
I just thought for a moment he was going to leap up and take it on the overhead kick at the highest point, which I would have absolutely loved to see.
I would have loved that.
But these chances that, you know, we talk about the players falling to players in the box, it actually has fallen to us in this game, but it's fallen to the two centre-halves.
Yeah, just unfortunate. This seems to be Ofton's luck at the moment. Sort of a similar start. I think I'd compare this to the Darlington game, but probably with a few less chances. So, in a way, that's a good thing because we're not sat here ruining all those misses in the first half. But still, with a positive outlook that we've been on top so far, Leamington haven't really had a chance to test George Sykes-Kenworthy. All he's really had to do is deal with a cross into the box from a set piece early on, and that's kind of been all the work he's had to do. As Adam Land looks to get Alfreton up the pitch once again with one of his throw-ins. It's headed away by the back line. Lynn there going down under the challenge of Wiley, but I think the referee spotted that he's kind of invited the contact and gone down on his own accord, uninterested in awarding the free kick. A bit of possession tennis in the midfield eventually as Nathan Newell looks to put an end to it with a long ball up towards Day. Waldock brings it down. A few shouts for handball from the Leamington players, but the referee disagrees. Still with Waldock. Now German goes out onto Claxton on the right-hand side into the attacking third. Little fake from Claxton, then tries the left-footed delivery. but it was low and blocked, though German steps in with the interception to keep the pressure on the brakes. Out with Osborne. Good shimmy to get beyond his man. Looks to hook it up towards Abbey at the back post, but his cross slightly short gives Meredith a chance to drive Leamington back up the pitch, the Scotsman. Really good feet from the right back, carrying it forward, still with it, Meredith.
Shakira.
Lays it out wide to Lynn. Meredith continues his run into the box. Looks to drive it across to the back post, and it's just evaded the head of Jack Edwards, who was coming in there, but what a run that is.
Yeah, he nearly
from
sent
the
me.
fullback, Daniel Meredith, former Scottish Youth International, with some dazzling feet as he carried it forward all the way from his own half into the Alfreton box. Had a quick little 1-2 with Anthony Lynn. That was magical.
Yeah, it was a bit like me on FIFA 19 when they brought no-touch dribbling out. You just held the button. It was like that. He wasn't touching the ball at all, just letting it run, but faking this way, that way, this way, that way. And eventually off-footed Newell enough to take it on the inside.
Well, he knew he had the momentum his way. It was fantastic work from him. The cross, not necessarily a bad one, but just evaded all of the blue shirts and all of the red shirts in that 18-yard area and bounced out for an Alfreton goal kick, which now finds itself in the midfield eventually. Ball goes out of play, poked out for an Alfreton throw, while the Leamington front man, Lynn. And another one for Adam Lund to take. Solly seems to be on a handover duty today. Both times he's gotten out of his perch on the wall and given Adam Lund the football to launch into the area. Maybe he's got some hand warmers or something, he can dry the ball for him. Nonetheless, forward it comes from Adam Lund into the area, headed away at the front post by Edwards. Alfreton are going to be more than pleased to see that one roll out for another Adam Lund throw in a slightly more advanced position, probably about 20 yards further forward than the initial one.
Yeah, this is the sort of position where you can throw it in really flat rather than floated. You know, he doesn't have to put everything on. He can keep it kind of at that right height with a bit more power.
Well, Wiley makes his way forward from the back this time. And it comes from Lund towards the front post, towards Wiley, headed away to Waldock on the edge, tries to knock it on for Max Hunt, who tries the shot, blocked. And it drops for Wiley at the back post, and it's a fantastic reactionary save from Callum Hawkins as Dwayne Wiley looked to take that shot on the volley, hits it into the ground, and it looked like it might just bounce over the goalkeeper, settle into the roof of the net. But Hawkins reacts really well to that shot, tips it over the crossbar and out for a corner. And I mean, it's something that we mentioned, that it was slightly unfortunate that those chances were dropping for the centre halves as opposed to anyone else on the pitch, but that wasn't a bad effort at all from Wiley, and he's unlucky to not have put Alfreton in front here.
Yeah, controlled his shot really well, kept it down, kept it under the crossbar. It's a fantastic save. It's not like the other one from Hunt. That was a missed opportunity.
Well, Osborne once again delivers from that right-hand side towards Lund at the back post, cleared away by Leamington to the edge of the box where it finds Waldock. He carries the ball backwards into his own half towards Newell. A bit too much steam on that pass for him, and he takes the sensible route back to his goalkeeper. Sykes Kenworthy looks to drive it back up the line towards Wiley, who stayed forward on that right-hand side, tries to use his body. German comes across in support, tries to win the foul, and I think he does, as the Leamington man, Adam Walker, came in. Captain put his body on Owen German, and he won the foul there, as kind of got Alfreton out of jail a little bit, as it looked like. For a moment we were on the back foot as Leamington tried to get themselves back up the pitch. But now just another chance for Alfreton to deliver the ball into the box, keep the pressure on that back line. And this feels a little bit like the often of old, putting the pressure on the defenders from minute one, making them think, tiring them out. And in comes that ball from Osborne again. It's a good delivery from the right-hand side towards Hunt, and it evades everybody in the end. And it's going to roll out for Walker. Opts to keep it in play into Lynn, and he's tried to bring it down up against Nathan Newell, and it's kind of ricocheted off of his shoulder as he sort of crouched down to try and get control of it. Bounces out for an Alfreton throw, and you know what that means. Another ball into the box for the Leamington back line to deal with. Adam Lund opts to go short this time towards Newell, who has space to cross on his left foot, but it's a defensive header away from Leamington. The number 17, Ewan Williams, puts his head in to deny Newell there, but another Alfreton throw for Adam Lund to launch into the box. Takes the long run up beyond the advertisement board. As it is on the left-hand side, he has the luxury of that, and I think
the rest tell him he can't.
For the first time in my memory, Adam Lund is being told that he can't run up from inside the stands on that left-hand side, which has been something that Alfreton have taken advantage of with these movable advertisement hoardings. But regardless, the ball into the box from Adam Lund was towards the front post where Day and Hunt were lurking, but it was headed away by Leamington. German recycles to Claxton, and that was taking a bobble on its way back to the full-back. So here's long ball. Very miss-hit, but stays in play. Osborne tries to keep it alive, and Leamington again stepping in with the clearance. Straight out for another Alfreton throw.
Off you go, Pam.
Yeah, Pam's going to have to, and she's literally just come back with a ball. It's like clockwork.
Every time.
You could not write this. Every single time we make a little jibe at Pam having to go and collect a ball.
She's coming
back with one that's already exited the ground. But Adam Lund prepares a throw once again. Just inside the home dugout, launches it into the box. Leamington get the head to it first, but German tries to bring it down on the edge and eventually tries to do his best to not surrender a goal kick and tumbles into the photographer behind the byline, but out for a goal kick nonetheless for Leamington. The score currently 0-0. We are goalless here at the Impact if you are just joining us.
Lucky to be 0-0.
I was going to say, yeah, Alfreton have been on top, had the chances. Most notably, just a few minutes ago, as Wiley struck a volley from inside the box that bounced off the ground and was looping underneath the crossbar, but Hawkins reacted really well to tip it over. There is Hawkins with his goal kick long for Leamington, makes his way all the way into the box, and I think an offside given there from the flick on. Edwards, the man that's flicked it on, and then it was either the number 7, Henry Landers, or Anthony Lynn. One of them was offside. Both of them were kind of involved in the play, but the linesman's flag was pretty quickly raised. And the offside awarded, Alfreton with a chance to get the ball back forward. And that's the most Leamington have really seen of the Alfreton box in this first half, outside of that fantastic run from Meredith that kind of came out of nowhere.
Trying to move over, mate. They can't see the eye candy.
Go on then.
I'll
shimmy. It's because
you've just shimmied me off the thing.
If I start, look, I've got the little ankle rolling danger. Sykes Kenworthy. His long ball up towards Jake Day, flicked on again by Lund, looking for Abbey, but Edwards with the clearance, and I think Meredith has caught. Yeah, he's caught something there in the head, and the referee has stopped play. Meredith, there's a cut on his eyebrow, I think, is what it looks like from up here. The Leamington players complaining. It looks like a really nasty one. I don't think there was any intent in there from Abbey and Lund. I think it was Lund who jumped for the header, and you've seen there a pretty quick handshake and a pat on each other's shoulders.
Yeah, that's a gash.
From Adam Lund and Meredith. Meredith aware that there was no malice in that challenge at all. But the physio waved on, understandably, as Meredith with an instantaneous gash on his eyebrow.
It's just going to sting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sure nothing they can't deal with.
And I think there's more arms being waved towards the dugout as Ollie's coming on to aid with the initial first aid. But yeah, Meredith takes a blow to the eye there, unintentional, but nasty nonetheless. Ollie coming on to do his best to help out, provide his medical expertise, and the Leamington player just pinches of water from him. But we've got a stoppage in play now for Meredith's treatment.
This is a top 10 respect moment in football. for physios uniting.
I was going to say, that's kind of a, as unfortunate a situation it is, it was nice to see none of the players kind of try and make a meal out of it. Meredith knew that there was no intent there. Very quickly shook hands with Adam Lund and understood that it was just a coming together and an accident. Although I think the Leamington captain, as well as Dwayne Wiley, both Walker and Wiley in discussions with the referee, whether there is to be a card brandished or not.
I think Wiley wants the game.
I was going to say, Wiley wants the game to continue because Meredith is off the pitch. And, when Waldock was down on the ground with blood on his face, he was made to take some time on the sideline as Meredith is now being bandaged up. A bit like Stuart Pearce. Getting that big headband.
Terry Butcher,
yeah. They're not going to be, from the looks of things, he's not going to be a player that Leamington want to lose in these early stages. Alone from that forward run, where he looked a little bit like Lionel Messi, carrying the ball forward. Seems to be one of the more dangerous players for the breaks. Played 30 games this season, the 25-year-old.
This should be a drop ball for us, by the way. It should be. We had possession in the midfield. It came to us before he blew his whistle.
And by the looks of it, the Alfreton players have kind of stood back in their own half in preparation for a free kick.
A free kick?
Yep. I suppose the evidence is there that, yeah, the elbow's caught Meredith in the head.
But it's not a foul.
Well, there we go. That's the decision nonetheless. And Meredith asked to head over to the touchline before he can head back on. He is also going to have to strip off momentarily and change his shirt. Such is the rules with blood on the kit. Can't be having that. So he's going to be putting on a new strip as Leamington look to get him back into the fixture. But play is going to be waved on now. As Leamington send the goal kick forward. Headed away by Wiley. Edwards wants the foul. And it's eventually prodded out of play. Yeah, I think by Leamington. I think they want Meredith back on as soon as possible.
Yeah,
so
they're going to do everything they can to get fouls. You know, now if they've got kind of a throw in, a goal kick, any sort of dead ball, they are going to be taking as long as possible until he's back on the pitch. But he's getting a new kit on, so I imagine he'll be waved on shortly after the ball comes back on.
Well, Will Shorrock opted to prod the ball out of play there rather than keeping things going. And eventually Alfreton look to go forward from that throw, but it's going to come straight back at them.
It's waved on.
Straight through to George Sykes-Kenworthy, who opts to knock the ball into his own box and pick it up, and it was a little close for comfort for me there, but the goalkeeper confident and was able to do so. Eventually rolls it out for his captain Wiley. Looks to drive the ball across to the right-hand side. Claxton nods it on today. Dropped back for Adam Lund, now Owen German. Just beyond the centre circle on the right-hand side now. Claxton tries to hold it up, drives it back forward down the line towards Osborne. Osborne brings it infield, some good feet from the winger. There's plenty of time just to knock it back out to Claxton. He goes back to Hunt inside the Alfreton half. There's the direct pass from Max Hunt. Headed on by a Leamington defender and straight through to his goalkeeper. Daniel Meredith now back onto the pitch with a bandaged up head and a new shirt on, a numberless shirt.
Tell you what I'm going to do, because of all the dips and delves in the country, I'm going to move the laptop.
Yeah, do it.
Rather than moving you.
Much appreciated, thank you. Well, Alfreton looking to come forward down the right-hand side now. Winning it back from that clearance is Osborne.
Well done.
And again, wins the corner. He's been a bright spark for the Reds this evening. Plays it off of his man straight out for another set piece, another corner. I think the third or maybe the fourth of this evening, all of which have been from that right-hand side, interestingly. I guess it's the side that Osborne's operating on. He's the one that's kind of creating things on that far side, so it makes sense. We've seen Adam Lund, Dwayne Wiley and Max Hunt all head forward from the back, and I think the four of them do line up. Two arms in the air from Osborne, delivered towards the back post. Adam Lund tries to get his head to it, clear towards German on the edge. Lund recycles to Hunt. Hunt spots Osborne, still over by the corner. Does really well to keep it in, Osborne. Little outside the boot cross towards Day, who had the ball cleared before it got to him, but it's still with Abbey inside the area on the left-hand side. Max Hunt wants it laid back off to him, but didn't really get in the position for it, so it's still with the feet of Jed Abbey. Tries his cross, blocked by Meredith. Out for a throw, all he could really do there. Adam Lund will have another opportunity to launch the ball into the box, straight on the on top of the corner flag, really, for the number 4. He's got the young fan behind him with the scarf, should he need it. Opts to go short, though, to Osborne. Adam Lund delivers first time himself towards Wiley. He can quite get the header in, but Osborne drives the shot at goal, and it's saved by Callum Hawkins with his feet at the near post. And straight out for another Alfreton throw on the left-hand side, virtually in the exact same position from the one 30 seconds ago. Adam Lund once again runs up towards the touchline, launches it into the area, headed away at the front post by Edwards, and out for an Alfreton corner, the first from the left-hand side from our perspective this evening. It still will be Osborne to take with that in-swinger this time, or more likely one of his floated ones towards the back post. The referee puts a stop to the game, as we are going to see a substitution for Leamington. Perhaps an enforced one, as I think it's going to be Daniel Meredith that makes way as a precautionary measure. They've tried to get him back on the field, so perhaps he's said something, perhaps he's mentioned that it's not something that he wants to play with, or it's just not a risk that the Leamington staff want to take. As we mentioned, they're kind of safe in the division. They're not going to get relegated. They're probably not going to get promoted this season. So it's probably not worth furthering some injury to one of their players.
Yeah, you imagine as well, if he takes another knock on that gash, that's going to get quite bad. You know, you link it to boxing. Someone gets a cut and they keep getting hit on the cut, the fight will get stopped. So I imagine he takes another big blow like that left him with that cut in the first place.
Well, it is Owen Farmer, the man that's come on for Leamington, number 24, the 19-year-old. Osborne with the delivery from that left-hand side.
Shocking. Straight
into the side netting. I think he's going to be wanting taking them from the right-hand side again after that one. But nothing comes of that corner in the end. But Leamington perhaps with a change of shape as well. Owen Farmer is a forward player, which is not the right back of Meredith. And I think it might be Shorrock that's come over. Yeah, Shorrock for Leamington fills in this right back area. And Farmer is up there on the sort of left-hand side of the attack or the midfield. That goal kick from Leamington works its way all the way through to Sykes Kenworthy. He's happy to pick that one up for himself and take his time before distributing this one. Wiley dropped in as the short option, but is waved away by Sykes Kenworthy. Volleys it forward, cleared away by Jack Edwards. Nathan Newell with a free header forward, back to Edwards. Lund tries to knock it out to the left-hand side where Osborne now is. Him and Abbey have swapped wings. So Sam Osborne now on the left-hand side of the attack. Jed Abbey over on the right. Looks like a tactical switch, although Abbey and Osborne, I think, are now swapping over once again. So that was short-lived. Nonetheless, Adam Lund with a chance to launch the ball into the box from inside the Leamington half. In it goes towards Jake Day in the corner of the box. Cleared away well by the breaks. Headed back forward by Wiley. German with a good flick. Waldock brings it under control and tries to just knock it over the back line. But Hawkins doesn't struggle to claim that one. Wasn't under too much pressure. So the Leamington goalkeeper puts a stop to that brief attack. And I think you could probably look at it now from the perspective that Alfreton did have that flurry of chances in this first half, failed to take advantage of any of them, and now the pendulum may swing the other way. As Leamington look to come forward down their left-hand side, but it's going to be one that Sykes Kenworthy can come out of his goal and clear. German knocks it around the corner once more for Day. He drifts out to the right-hand side, tries to play it down the flank towards Osborne, but it's knocked back to Hawkins by Medrano. Up towards Lynn, headed away by Wiley and fully cleared by Newell. Back forward by Leamington, into the feet of German though. Picks it off, lays it back to Claxton, inside his half, goes back to his goalkeeper. Sykes Kenworthy with the first time clearance up towards Waldock. Contested by Edwards for the header. Still with Waldock though, drops it back to Wiley. Dwayne Wiley not at all happy with Jed Abbey, as Dwayne Wiley absolutely grilling Jed Abbey for not running into that space. And Dwayne Wiley called him out on it, gave him 2 seconds to make the run, still didn't make the run, and eventually Wiley just played the ball into that empty space where Jed Abbey wasn't, and he's still having a go at him. Really unhappy with his winger's work there. And Jed Abbey looks distraught. But it's out for a Leamington throw, and the referee makes him wait for the throw. Jed Abbey and Jack Edwards both being told to settle down before this throw is waved on by our referee tonight, Callum Jones. And eventually the ball cleared up the line after the throw-in. Not once but twice, but it rolls all the way through for Max Hunt. Knocks it across the box for George Sykes Kenworthy to clear. up towards Lund. He tries to flick on, but if anything, clears it the way for Leamington. Back forward by Claxton. Osborne battling for that one. Now with German. He tries to hook it back into the midfield towards Waldock, and Osborne does get there. But played it into the kind of general vicinity where Jake Day normally is, but on that occasion he drifted slightly over to the right-hand side. So it was a loose ball, but then an even looser one from Leamington. The clearance from George Ward, well, much more of a pass, I'm sure it was intended to be, but the man that got them that go-ahead goal at the weekend knocks that straight out of play under virtually no pressure for Alfreton, and Claxton will be left on throwing duties here as he goes down the line looking for Day, headed away by the first man. Back into the box from Claxton, but away by Edwards. Wiley battles for that header, brings down his man, Anthony Lynn, and the referee blows his whistle. It's going to be a yellow card for Dwayne Wiley. I think he just kind of got Anthony Lynn wrapped around his arm, didn't want to let him spin around him because he knew that he'd get away. It's a tactical foul, but one that I think Wiley was hoping he could get away with and kind of play off as a coming together, but Callum Jones wise to it. Dishes out a yellow card for the Alfreton skipper.
Yeah, Lynn's gone down a few times soft as well, trying to win those kinds of free kicks, and I wouldn't have been surprised if the referee didn't give that, because there's a couple of times he did go down looking for that sort of free kick, but I think that one was probably just. That one was probably a foul, in my opinion.
Leamington will have this free kick from just inside the 6-yard box. Rob Evans stood over it. Looks to clip it in towards that back post area. Nothing doing, though, for the Leamington attack. Bounces straight out for an Alfreton goal kick. And as much as the Leamington have resisted Alfreton's pressure so far, they've not really had much retort going forward. Been forced into that early change, disrupted the momentum of the game a little bit. And that has kind of killed the momentum that Alfreton did have going their way. But still plenty of time to rebuild as Sykes Kenworthy takes this goal kick long, flicked on well by Day between Osborne and Abbey. It's going to roll all the way back through for Wiley, who tries to hit the area where Osborne is waiting. And Alfreton appeal for the throw-in. The linesman eventually disagrees.
Didn't have a clue.
I was going to say
he's got it right, but he didn't have a clue.
Yeah,
he completely guessed.
It looked like it sort of floated over the head of Jaya Madrano for Leamington and out for a throw of their own, but the linesman, I'm not sure, knew too much about it. Took about 5 seconds before
he was waiting for the
raising
referee.
his flag. But yeah, that time the referee slightly more certain on that decision. Alfreton will have a throw just inside the Leamington half. Adam Lund back on duties this time. And he's going to launch it back into the area. We're seeing Hunt head forward from the back along with Wiley. In it comes from Adam Lund, flicked on by Hunt. And Wiley's dropped back. Falls back to Lund eventually, who tries the shot.
Oh, he's killed someone.
From distance, and it's over the crossbar into that tin end behind that goal. Struck with power, but not too much accuracy.
Can he play up front?
Straight out for a Leamington goal kick. As the ball knocked back onto the pitch. Very far away from the Leamington goalkeeper, and I don't think he's really going to be catching too much flack for not running to get onto the end of that one from the supporter behind the goal. Callum Hawkins, though, does have the ball now. Bring George Ward to his team to just get to the half. So it looks as if Leamington are just trying to get in at the break with a goalless scoreline. It's Hawkins' goal kick, headed back forward by Abbey, but cleared once again by Leamington, straight through for Sykes Kenworthy, though they've not been able to make those long balls stick, really. Sykes Kenworthy with the ball in his hands. Nathan Newell thinks about providing this short option, but elects to just head back up to the halfway line, and Sykes Kenworthy drives it long. It bounces before almost finding Jake Day. It's headed forward by German towards Day once again, but it'll find Abbey just outside the box, brings it over to the left-hand side. He's got Newell in support. He's got German as well, and he finds Owen German. Looks to see if he can set himself to shoot. Eventually clips it into the area on his left foot, kind of between a cross and a shot. Floats into the gloves of Callum Hawkins. Jake Day was in there, Osborne as well. But the Leamington goalkeeper doesn't have too much bother claiming that one.
just needed to wrap his foot around it a little bit more, get a little bit of drawback on it, so it wasn't destined for the keeper's path.
Hawkins with the clearance. Brought down by Hunt, and eventually Waldock and Lund exchange a 1-2, finds the feet of Jake Day, and the referee initially played advantage for Jed Abbey being brought down as he played that first time pass, but the advantage didn't come to much, so Callum Jones blew the whistle, and Alfreton will have a free kick towards the end of this half as we enter the added time period.
Yeah, I think the referee was right to play the advantage there. If Jake Day could have just flicked it round the corner for Waldock, he would have had a good chance to run at the Leamington back line. Just couldn't get the ball quite out of his feet, get it under control. So the referee rightly pulls it back.
And George Sykes-Kenworthy prepares this free kick from inside his own half, drives it forward, and it's towards Adam Lund, but it's headed away by Edwards. German tries to get something on there. Lund steps in though, tries to knock it out towards Osborne on that right-hand side, and he will get there. Lund sets the screen for him. Osborne lays it off for German. Right-footed cross in towards Abbey, and eventually just about evades him. And Robert Evans with a confident header back to his goalkeeper, kind of crouched down and nodded it back into Hawkins, who had to jump a little bit. Didn't look too comfortable for the Leamington goalkeeper, but it looked like smart defending in the end, but could have gone very wrong.
Imagine we'll see the board go up in a moment with an extended period of stoppage time. Because
I think we might have missed it because I heard it come over the tunnel as
is that what it was?
As I looked down, yeah.
Oh, God.
But I can imagine it would be slightly lengthy. We've had 2 big stoppages for Waldock and Meredith's injury.
Yeah, well,
the latter obviously being forced off the pitch in a change.
While we approach half-time, remember not to go anywhere during the break. The true or false quiz is back, and Quentin is back, and he is looking for vengeance in the quizzing world.
Hawkins looks to drive this team forward. He kind of waited with the ball at his feet for about 15 seconds before an Alfreton player put any pressure on him, which echoes the voice that we heard from Ward earlier, just telling his team to get to the half. But Alfreton do come away with possession. It's Abbey on the left-hand side in the half, drives it into Osborne, who's inverted into the midfield space. Waldock tries to knock it into the path of Day, and eventually Leamington step in with the clearance, and it's going to be a throw-in on the left-hand side for Adam Lund to take. And another chance as we approach the half-time whistle for Lundy to launch one in to that mixer, cause a little bit of chaos as both Wiley and Hunt head up from the back.
Be a great time to score.
Perfect time to score. Jake Day and Jed Abbey standing themselves right in front of the goalkeeper. Hunt and Wiley in the box. Waldock and German on the edge. In it comes from Adam Lund towards Hunt. Headed away at the front post towards Waldock on the edge. Recycles it back out to Lund on the left. He tries to find the crossing towards the back post towards Day. The header does come in, but it's wide of the mark. And Leamington had bodies around it and were happy to just shepherd that one out for a goal kick. And Hawkins is going to take his time before getting onto this one as Leamington look to get into the break level.
Just for a moment when that left Day's head, you thought it might loop and land in the back of the net. Just didn't have the direction to hit the target.
So the deadlock remains unbroken in this injury time period of the first half here at the Impact Arena. Alfreton being the side on top, but yet to make any of the chances they've had stick and find the back of the net. The goal kick from Hawkins is eventually brought down by Osborne on the right-hand side. Tries to knock it down the line. Claxton calling for the foul, but no one else really. So I think it's pretty safe to say there wasn't a foul in there. Leamington have themselves a throw on the left-hand side, just inside the Alfreton half, in front of the away dugout. The manager, Paul Holloran, barking instructions at his players. Longest-serving manager at any club in the National League North. And that throw-in is taken, and the whistle immediately blown for half-time. So 45 minutes up here at the Impact. Still goalless, 0-0. Alfreton with the better chances, and the more chances in the first half, but still yet to find the back of the net. Hawkins only really had to make 2 saves that I can recall, both of which were good, to deny Wiley and the shot from the left-hand side. Osborne it was. But he's kept them out, and that's the tale of the first half so far. So I will swiftly hand over to our quiz show host, Matty, today.
Yeah, so once again, the true or false quiz is back. But let me just grab my phone. We ran into a bit of a problem. The first 2 quizzes I did off the dome. What do I know about football that is interesting in going to a quiz? And I just kind of sat and did that. And then I discovered that AI can make quizzes for you. So you can't really judge these questions on what would Matty do. Would Matty make that up? Because it's not me, which I think steps up the level. However, I have had to change quite a few of them because AI more or less only knows how to give you true questions when you ask it for a true or false quiz. And it took me quite a while to get them because it doesn't understand the preface of making them difficult.
Right.
But we're running into this. Quentin is back for revenge.
Yeah.
After
Should we swap so you can get on camera?
Yeah.
Do you want to go in the middle?
I'll go in the middle.
Step over your mic.
Don't fall. So obviously Liam stepped in on Saturday and got his first spanking off Vaughan.
Spanking's harsh. it was a last minute.
It was
a
a lucky win for Vaughan.
Very lucky.
He guessed 2 of the answers correct, which was ultimately the difference, a stroke of luck. But he remains undefeated coming in to tonight's quiz. So the way I'll do it is I'll read the question. You will give me your answers, either true or false. I will tell you what the 2 gents next to me have said for their answer, and then I will reveal the answer. So we'll start with number 1. The term hat-trick originated from cricket. True or false?
Not a clue. I'll go true. I'll get the ball rolling.
Both of them have gone true. Vaughan, not so sure. Quentin nodding his head, yeah, I knew that one. And he was right, so. It was true. The term hat-trick did come from cricket.
Will got it right. And Jake. They're on
there
form.
There you go. On form, the pair of them. Number 2. The record for the longest goal in football is from 98 yards out.
I'll say true, because that would be in your own box. And there's been goals that have been scored from your own box. But, I mean, it could be 99 yards. It could be 97. But I'll just say true.
Couldn't look stumped.
I don't know it.
I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds about right, because I think we're about
110 or something.
That's like your own box 6 shot. Yeah, I'm going to go true.
Yeah.
The pair of them both go true. They're both correct once again. Tom King for Newport in 2021.
Former Braintree player.
Oh, he was ready with that.
Will and Jake off form.
Off form.
Incorrect.
Form's gone. Form's gone.
50% correct.
Number 3. Only Ronaldo, Cristiano, has scored in 5 separate World Cups. True or false?
I think I've got something in my head that's like that is true, but I don't know if he's the only one to do it. But his longevity's stupid. I think he has. Because he's
20 years.
Yeah, but he's 40, isn't he? I'll say true, but I think there might be someone else that's done it. But I wouldn't have a clue.
I'm going to say false.
So one of you has got it right, one of you has got it wrong.
Yeah.
I think for the first time between you two ever, Quentin has taken the lead.
No!
As it is false. Marta, for Brazilian's women's team, has achieved the same feat.
Wow.
So it is false.
Have got that.
It is. Yeah, don't think about the women's football, do you, Vaughan?
No, clearly not.
Quentin was thinking about the women's players, the greats of the game.
That is mental, though. 20 years.
20 years is something.
Yeah.
Like to be playing that high level for that long is just...
Yeah.
Wow, there we go.
This is work. Number 4. The longest penalty shootout in history ended after 50 penalties. True or false?
Each.
Yeah, 50 each or 25 each.
Not 50 each, that's silly.
Yeah, just 50 in general.
50 in general.
25 each.
So they'd gone round twice. I think that's believable. You could tell me that and I'd believe it. Yeah. So off that basis, I'm going to say true.
There's definitely been ones where players have taken a couple of penalties.
Yeah, that's my thinking.
We've taken a couple of penalties.
I don't know, but I don't know. I'll say true.
I'm going to say false.
Wow.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
Well, obviously you've gone different. Quentin's gone false. Vaughan has gone true on that. The longest penalty shootout was 50 penalties. Obviously, one has got it right and one has got it wrong. And Quinton's doubled his lead.
Oh, I
so
can't believe it.
4-2. It's false. The longest was 48 penalties
Oh, so that's still
in the
quite impressive.
in the 2005 Nambian Cup.
I remember that one, yeah.
So I was there.
Plenty of money lumps on that.
Yeah.
I was 2, I remember. I did the match report. Well,
Oh wow, mountain to climb.
that was the one one of the ones I changed because
Get the players back out.
AI only ever does true. So I was like, oh, I'm going to have to whack on an extra 2 penalties here. Well, number 5, Quinton was looking for the clean sweep tonight.
50 was too good round of a number. Idiot.
No player has ever won the World Cup as a captain of their team and the manager of the team.
I know, at least I'm fairly sure, I'm going to possibly help Quentin out here. He might know more than me, but I think Didier Deschamps has won it as a player and a manager, but I don't know if he was the captain of France. But I know that's a fact. I'm fairly sure it is anyway. I'm gonna gamble on true. I've got to gamble. I'm 2 behind.
And manager, as in like
Captain
player.
of the team,
Oh, okay.
and not just the player, the captain.
That's what I mean. I don't know if he would have been the
In
captain
like-
of
So he
France.
was the captain, and then later on in his career, he did it as manager, or he was like.
He won it, the World Cup, as the captain of the national team,
So he's not player manager.
and then he won.
Oh, he could have been.
And then he won it later on in his career as a manager, in his managerial career.
I'm going to say false.
I've got a gamble.
Oh, they've gone different again.
Yeah, I've
Vaughan's gone true. He thinks no one has ever won it as the captain of the team or the manager.
No, you
No, I think someone has.
You think someone has?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
don't think someone has.
So I said no. So you think it's
Oh, so my
false.
answer is false. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
So you've
Okay.
both gone false.
No,
You
I-
think it's true that no one's.
I don't think anyone has.
Right. Quinton
I
does.
think so.
Quinton thinks it's true that no one has ever won it as a captain and a
Yes.
manager.
Sorry, I misheard the question.
Vaughan thinks it's false.
Fingers are crossed.
I can reveal
One
That-
of us has got it right.
the answer is false as Vaughan starts to claw it back
How many questions?
slowly.
Do you know? Do we-
That's the halfway point
Get
as we
in.
sit at
Okay,
4-3
That's fine.
to
that's
Quinton. Franz Beckenbauer did it with Germany, won it as the captain of Germany and the manager of
fine. So
Germany.
my answer was wrong anyway. Brilliant.
Like Arteta and his cat again.
Oh yeah.
Get in.
Number 6. There were no Olympic gold medals for football before 1908.
Oh God. There were none. No gold medals. 1908. That's a long time ago.
1908, yeah.
I'll say true.
Around the
Yeah,
time the
that's-
Titanic sank.
That's a long
too
time
specific.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, you both correct. It is true. Obviously, 1908 was the year that the Olympics was introduced football into
Right, okay.
its things. But obviously, that could have been one where I just changed the year
Yeah.
to catch you out. But yeah, that is, you are both correct. That makes it 5-4 in Quinton's favour. This could be an upset here in the gantry night tonight at the
Yeah.
Impact.
What a way to end the midweek.
No, number 7. The Euros has been won by a nation that actually failed to qualify.
True.
Yeah. I'm going to say something stupid, but I'm pretty sure I've seen something like that in like a series or something.
I'm fairly. confident.
Quinton's gone out on a limb and said he's seen it again.
I
So if this is wrong,
He's
this
not
is going to be the
sure.
second time he's done this.
can picture.
The
Might be might be thinking about the FA Cup, where I think someone got back into the competition. Something.
Anyway, the long and short, they've both gone true,
Yeah.
and you're both correct.
Was it Denmark?
It was Denmark, yeah. They'd failed to qualify, and they were invited as a replacement team. And then they obviously went on to win it. So that makes it, 6-5 in Quinton's favour.
Jake's copying Will, so we'll disregard his answers.
Number 8. Zlatan Ibrahimovic has played for 10 clubs in his professional career.
Exactly 10, or
He's played for 10 clubs in his professional
I'm
career.
going to try and be a nerd and do it in my head.
Quinton's counting on his fingers.
Depends a lot.
I've counted 8, no 9. I'm fairly sure I've got a certain 9 that he played for. Is there going to be some stupid random 10th thing that I'm not going to know? I'm going to have to gamble again because I'm the one behind, and I'm going to say, no, I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm going to say.
I don't think it's 10.
I think I've got 9 from my existing knowledge, if I'm counting right. I've got
Well, Quinton's gone false, for those who can't hear him.
Malmo, Ajax, AC, Inter, Juve, Barca, PSG, United, LA Galaxy. I can't think of a 10th. So I'm going to say false.
Well, you've both gone false. Once again, both correct.
Oh.
Which was, I thought you might have gambled and gone,
after you said false, I was thinking about gambling, but yeah.
Even though you
Yeah,
named all
he's
the
only
clubs.
played for 9 clubs in senior clubs. So I imagine there was 10 clubs that he played for another club at youth level, maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
I didn't change that one. That was just what I got fed by Copilot. But yeah, false. He's only played for 9 senior clubs. As we storm 7 to Quinton, 6 to Vaughan. As we come into the final 2 questions, there will be a tiebreaker if Vaughan does claw it back. Number 9. The Copa Libertadores first contested in 1930.
Mate, I've got no idea. I've got no idea.
For the benefit of the competition, I'm going to go to the opposite to
Right.
Ooh.
I'll
go first.
Okay. Well, I mean, I've got no response. I don't know.
Guessing.
I'll say true. That's my.
Vaughan has guessed true.
I've guessed true.
Quinton has guessed false. And question number 9.
He could win it.
Quinton could win it with a correct answer here.
I could just copy your answers to the rest of the competition.
Yeah. I respect the trying to maintain the integrity of the competition.
I can reveal that the Copa Libertadores first contested in 1960. Which means it is false.
That's a million miles away.
Confirms his first W on the
Wow.
halftime quiz. Loser!
I've lost.
He's lost a quiz.
There is still time for me to win this season overall.
Well, we'll do the last questions for the fun
For
of
a
the
laugh.
game for anyone who is interested. So Quinton has won. But the 10th question was, the oldest player to score in a World Cup match was Miroslav Klose at 40 years old.
What's that? What competition, sorry?
World Cup.
Did he play in the World Cup at 40? I don't know if he was that old when he was still playing for Germany. Because he was well old at Lazio, wasn't he?
There's got to be some like random.
This is what I'm thinking. Yeah, there could just be some like div from like 1950 that no one's heard of that randomly popped up with a goal that when he was 41.
Actually, I know.
We've seen it. He was there.
I'd go true.
Yeah.
They've both gone true.
Yeah.
Both idiots.
Oh.
Wrong.
Random bloke.
It was false. It was Roger Miller at 42 years old for Cameroon in 1994. And the tiebreaker would have been
He's not a divvy, to be fair.
the,
He's a known player.
the golden goal rule was abolished following the 2006 World Cup, which was the tiebreaker. It would have been the first person to answer, and that was false. It was abolished in 2004. There was no World Cup in 2006.
Oh, that would have been embarrassing.
myself.
Yeah, that would have been embarrassing one to get wrong. But there we go. A quiz.
Players come back out.
This is
Again.
going to be Vaughan's commentary in the second half is going to be like, Jake Day gets the ball.
Yeah, whatever.
He flicks it over the top.
Yeah. Oh, we've scored. It's 1-0.
That's 1-0.
Yeah,
it
I'm
means
not
nothing
bothered because I've lost. I'm going to have a sulk now.
Timed beautifully again. That's 2 for 2 timed beautifully as the players come back out for the second half. I'm getting better and better at this.
Well, there we go. What was this? What was it, 8-7 in the end? Or no, 8, no, because I was 2 behind.
You were 2 behind, so it ended in 8-6.
I think that's right, yeah.
Yeah, and then you both got the last question wrong anyway.
Yeah, whatever. Well, the teams do take themselves back onto the field for this second half here at the Impact. Things still goalless here after the first 45 minutes. Doesn't look to have been any half-time swaps. Obviously, there was that first half substitution for Leamington. Owen Farmer coming on for the injured Daniel Meredith. After that gash to his eyebrow. But the referee double checks with both goalkeepers and blows his whistle. We are underway here at the Impact Arena for this second half. Max Hunt looking to go direct immediately over towards Jake Day. Brings it down really well. Pokes it off of Landers, out for a throw. So a positive start to the second half for Alfreton. The Leamington fans making use of that wall behind the tin end, banging on it, making some noise.
I actually thought they had a drum for a minute. Get them out!
Well, Alfreton will have a chance to launch the ball into the area. via Adam Lund's arms. And it comes towards Max Hunt, flicked on by a Leamington player, actually, at the front post, and it looked like a foul. I think it was the arms of Max Hunt in the back of Jack Edwards as he tried to use all of his force to flick that header on, but Edwards hit the deck. Referee's whistle went with no hesitation.
I think we can win this. We can go on, we can win this game. That first half was good.
It was good, yeah.
But the issue was we were leading at half-time against Darlington and we came out to sit on that lead. We've still got to go and get one. I think that could be the difference if we get the goal a little bit later on.
Well, Alfreton win the ball back relatively swiftly from Hawkins' goal kick, but German's ball hooked down the line is going to bounce out for a Leamington throw inside their own half, and it's going to be number 6, Rob Evans, to take. 34-year-old. Does have a decent throw on him. And I think he's actually going to embarrass me and leave it. So that's nice of him. Told you I'm going to be sulking. Ball down the line from Leamington, headed away by Alfreton relatively quickly. Jake Day tries to bring it down, knock it into the path of Osborne, drives forward into the Leamington half. Waldock helps it on towards Abbey. Nathan Newell bombs forward, making that overlapping run. Abbey will use him. First time cross from Newell on the left-hand side, away by Evans towards the edge, brought down by Edwards and fully cleared by the Leamington captain, Walker. Out for an Alfreton throw inside their own half. Solly once again hands it over. He's always there. He's always there to hand it over, and it will be Adam Lund to take this one. Dwayne Wiley was there, and it looked like Sykes Kenworthy could have been an option. He made himself available, but no risks being taken by Dwayne Wiley. Forward from Adam Lund towards Jake Day, headed away by Leamington. Back forward by Newell towards Abbey. Bounces across to Shorrock, and I think the offside flag raised against Jed Abbey there after that flick on. So Leamington thought they had a throw. They're going to have themselves a free kick instead. Callum Hawkins is going to stride over in preparation for the goalkeeper. Played 38 games this season, been a regular fixture for the Breaks, keeping 7 clean sheets in the league. And his free kick is directed towards Edwards. Bounces beyond him. Lund steps in with a challenge. And I think he's had a little stamp after that one as he tries to get the referee's attention, but play is waved on. Evans tries to head that one away. Waldock battles him. If Evans eventually gets the clearance in with his foot. Bounces straight out for an Alfreton throw just underneath the gantry from our point of view. I think it's going to be Claxton to take.
Yep.
Referee makes sure Claxton doesn't go any further, and then he's already walked. Claxton launches this one down the line towards Day. Flicked on. Pinched by Edwards, though. Ball in field. Intercepted by Max Hunt, and he looks to knock it over towards the left-hand side for Abbey, who's in a bit of space. Is now contested by Shorrock, though. Jed Abbey still on the ball, tries the left-footed cross into the area, cleared away at the front post, and eventually again by Leamington. But Osborne, really good touch to keep it alive. Adam Lund tries the shot from the edge of the box. I think the pass was meant for German, but Lundy wins it back and is then pushed onto the ground by the Leamington captain, Adam Walker, and I think they're expecting the free kick to be awarded for Adam Lund kind of sitting on the ball basically and obstructing it, which would not be allowed, but I think there was an offside in the midst of that because the referee blew his whistle and then had his arm up and the linesman is bolted, so I can't see him. But it's going to be a free kick for Leamington inside their own half. Getting the ball into a good area there. Abbey had a lot of work to do on that left-hand side to make something happen, and he managed to deliver a good cross into the mixer. Was eventually dealt with, though. That long free kick from Leamington bounces straight out for an Alfreton throw right on that far side in the opposite corner. Adam Lund once again going over to take it, just to try and get the Reds back up the pitch a little bit. Up towards Day, it's flicked on in search of Abbey. Edwards tries to get it beyond Nathan Newell, and eventually Landers hooks it round the corner. It's a good-looking ball for Lynn, and he's challenged by Wiley. Eventually the Alfreton captain does well to clear that one away into the path of Adam Lund, whose clearance was aimed at Day. Osborne comes away with it though, who's drifted over from the right-hand side. Now to Abbey, his opposite winger. Challenge comes in from the number 12, Will Shorrock, who's the makeshift right back at the moment in place of Meredith, who was forced off in that first half. But good work between the two wingers there, winning that throw-in and giving Adam Lund the opportunity to deliver from the kind of the border between the midfield and the final third on that left-hand side. In it comes from Adam Lund towards the front post, headed away by Leamington, back into the box by German. Abbey knew he was offside and left it. Back with German. Lund again, out to Abbey. He's made his way back out to the left wing. Tries the left-footed cross. He's closed down by Henry Landers. And blocks the cross at the expense of a corner. And Alfreton will have another opportunity to launch the ball into the box. This time, though, not from an Adam Lund throw-in, from a Sam Osborne corner. It's going to be the right-footed in-swinger from the former Leamington man. Two arms raised in the air. Max Hunt, Adam Lund and Jake Day all inside the box. The referee's going to make us wait here. Blown his whistle just as Sam Osborne was taking his run up, and he's calling a couple of players short. I think it's George Ward and Adam Lund that he's having a conversation with before we're allowed to see this corner taken. Adam Lund went to walk back to his position then. The referee just kind of pulled him back and said, I'm not done finishing, I'm not done talking to you yet. Eventually allowed to retake his position. Alfreton with that four-man love trade on the edge. Day, Wiley, Lund and Hunt. Alfreton fans calling for the referee's attention. Osborne is waved on to take the corner. Two arms in the air once again. The ball floated towards the goalkeeper's area, straight under the crossbar.
What on earth is he given?
And Jake Day looked as if he almost got his head to it. Didn't impede the goalkeeper. It bounced off the post, I think. Back into play. And the referee's whistle went. I'm not too sure if he's given a foul on the goalkeeper or a defender. But the Alfreton player seemed a little bit confused by that one, as did the fans behind the goal in that open terrace.
I'm confused by that one.
Well, it will be a free kick to Leamington inside the 6-yard box, which Hawkins will treat as a goal kick. Forward it comes towards Edwards. Adam Lund tries to get his head to it, and the linesman flags for the foul on Adam Lund. That looked a little soft, but perhaps a bit of compensation in order from the referee. It's not unusual to see. Callum Jones awards Alfreton the free kick there inside their own half.
Yeah, honestly, I think from what he's given from that corner there, he's very lucky the ball didn't actually land at an Alfreton player's feet. It went to a Leamington player. They probably would have cleared it anyway, but say it was falling to Liam Waldock in the area, and he give that free kick. I think he could have a bit more people on his case.
Yeah, slightly more contentious decision if that was the case. Sykes Kenworthy will take this free kick long into towards the head of Jake Day, flicked on towards Max Hunt, poked into the area, looping, and eventually Leamington do manage to get that one clear. Launched up towards Lynn, but Wiley wins it. Across to Nathan Newell on the left-hand side of the defence, looks to hook it down the line into that kind of half space between the full-back and the centre-back. But Leamington clear once more. Edwards beats Adam Lund to that one. Now with the substitute for Leamington, Owen Farmer. Dispossessed though, momentarily, as it drops back to Jack Edwards. He tries an intricate little pass back out to the flank for his full-back to run onto. But no dice, straight out for an Alfreton throw. And it's going to be Josh Claxton to launch it down the line on this right-hand side. Looking for Day. I was going to say, yeah, Edwards has got his arm around Jake Day's neck. The referee doesn't spot it. Leamington play on here is Farmer. The young winger on the left-hand side. He's up against Claxton, driving towards the area. Shimmies a little, eventually drops it back towards Jack Edwards, who's in acres on the edge of the box. Tries the shot from range. It's immediately closed down by Owen German, but the clearance only finds a Leamington player. Claxton with the headed clearance, relatively uncontested. Osborne battling with Farmer to try and get on that one. Referee says no foul. Adam Lund with the headed clearance. I think I was expecting the referee's whistle there, but Jake Day nips there in front of Edwards. Then Osborne receives it from Day, carries it in field, tries the switch but slips as he does so. and he's not happy with himself.
He needs to get back up and get back in the
So
game.
he needs to get back on his feet. Leamington with the ball at the back. Sent forward, looking for the run of the wide man Henry Landers, but straight into the gloves of George Sykes-Kenworthy inside his own box. But yeah, that was an interesting scenario. Farmer and Osborne kind of going at it. It looked as if Osborne just bundled him over. The referee was quick to wave away any appeals there. Sykes-Kenworthy, his long ball up towards Day is flicked on well for Abbey, who just gambled on the wrong side of the defender for where the ball eventually dropped. Really unlucky for Abbey in the end, and cleared away by Leamington, out for an Alfreton throw inside their own half. Mark Carroll waits for Adam Lund to come across to him and pass the ball over. And I think he's been told off by the linesman for holding it, as he's kind of sarcastically dropped it on the ground. Adam Lund does send this one down the line, looking for Day, flicked on into the midfield for Osborne to get onto. Tries to play it back to German, and Leamington play the ball over the top. Sykes-Kenworthy comes a long way out of his box.
Really good.
Brings it down on his thigh confidently. Clears the ball away up towards Jake Day. Still Jake Day. Fakes the volley, eventually shoots, and it was hit with power, but wide of the mark, and I think
Corner.
actually deflected on the way through and out for a corner. Didn't look like it took a nick from up here, but the referee looked to his linesman, who didn't hesitate to point for the corner. Leamington don't have too many complaints about the decision, which would indicate that the linesman's got it right. So it will be a chance for Alfreton to deliver, but Jake Day kind of had to improvise there as the ball bounced beyond him, had to kind of swing a leg at it initially.
I thought he might have been given a free kick. The play was absolutely all over him. He did well to stay on his feet and get a shot away in the end.
Had to stay on his feet and eventually did get the shot away, which is ricocheted out for a corner for Osborne to deliver. 2 arms in the air, and he delivers it, but the referee blows his whistle before the corner.
That would have been a goal as well, Ray.
I was going to say, it's gone straight through to the back post for Adam Lund, but the referee wants to make us wait that little bit longer this evening. And Osborne is going to have to retake the corner. He's calling Dwayne Wiley, and
I don't get why they do this.
Well, I think this might be a case. I don't know if this was a case of 2 players marking each other, or he's telling the captains to get both their teams under control, but nonetheless he's making us wait an extra 2 minutes before we see the corner.
Players are going to be physical from corners, though. They're going to grab onto each other. They're getting ready for the ball to come into the box. It's going into an area of uncertainty. Chaos can be caused. Of course, players are going to be getting a bit argy-bargy with them, but you can't stop the game every time that 2 players are like pushing each other back and forth, waiting for a corner to come in, trying to get into a good position. Let them do it. If one of them fouls the other one, give the foul when the corner comes in. Don't try and prevent a foul from happening. That's not the referee's job. Either give the fouls, don't give the fouls. Don't try and prevent fouls.
And now the referee pointing to Sam Osborne, but not blowing his whistle. And he's going to make us wait even longer as he gives it a double blow of the whistle to have another little conversation. And now eventually we're allowed to see the corner. Sam Osborne delivers from that right-hand side towards the back post.
Oh,
and would you believe
God!
it? The whistle goes as the corner's delivered. And it's a free kick to Leamington inside the box, which we've got no problem with. But if that's what's going to be awarded,
just let them do it the first time.
Award it when it happens, not try and prevent it for 2 minutes before it actually happens and waste everybody's time. So Leamington with a free kick inside their own box as a result of that corner, to the surprise of absolutely nobody. And just to be clear, we're not making this complaint from a bitter perspective that the free kick's been awarded. Absolutely no problem if the Alfreton players made the foul, but it's the fact that he's, you know, I don't mind the initial kind of setting the tone in the first half before the first corner if he's noticing the players are getting too physical and he lets them know the first time, but before every single set piece, what's the point if you're just going to, if there's a foul anyway, you're allowed to give it, as we've seen.
Just let them take the corner. Let them take the corner in. You don't have to have a conversation. Guys, stop touching each other. Stop trying to win the ball.
Yeah. Well, nonetheless, the free kick for Leamington bounces out for a throw for the breaks, and it's won back very quickly by Nathan Yule, and the clearance, though, from Waldock. Slightly miscued, but eventually brought down into the path of Claxton. Hooked down the line into the path of Osborne, and Leamington do get ahead to it. Evans with the clearance. I think that's going to bounce out of play. It is. Didn't look a million miles away from the gantry. If he'd have caught that a little bit sweeter and aimed for your head, then we might have had...
They would just see me flick it on, you know.
Nod it back into play. Well,
Play on!
Alfreton will have a throw from this right-hand side. sure you don't need me to tell you who's taking it, but it's Adam Lund from this sideline, just underneath the gantry. Launched into the area towards that front post. Wiley comes across to try and win it. Towards Max Hunt, eventually. Leamington get a nick on it, bounces through to Jed Abbey on the left-hand side, who does well to carry the ball back into a little bit of space. He's got Waldock in support, eventually utilises him. Driven cross from Waldock towards the front post for Adam Lund, and the linesman's flag was raised, I think, against Lund as that cross came in, or Osborne perhaps.
I think it was Osborne.
Osborne was challenging for it as well. But a free kick to Leamington on the edge of their own box as a result of that. Abbey did his best to recycle the play after the cross went all the way through, brought it back out into a bit of space, waited for the support, used it, did the right thing. But Waldock's cross aimed, unfortunately, for Alfreton at an offside player. The linesman's flag went straight up. We're seeing a disrupted game of football, I think, is a fair way to describe it in this second half.
Div.
I mean, that's a way you can describe the referee if you'd like, but...
Big div.
Adam Lund prepares another throw from the left-hand side, inside his own half this time. Forward towards Jake Day, tries to bring it down, does so. Abbey comes across to help out, and a firm challenge from the Leamington man, I think it was Shorrock. But eventually his clearance headed back forward by Hunt into the path of Day, tries to lay it off for Waldock, and in the nick of time, Leamington get that one clear. It was Ewan Williams stepping across Liam Waldock to smash that one out of play for a throw. Claxton, for a moment, thought about chucking that one short for Adam Lund, but hesitated, and he will leave the duties for the midfielder. Eventually, though, he plays it short to Osborne.
That was good.
It's a poor touch from the winger, but he does well to try and atone for his error and wins the ball back. Lays it back for Nathan Newell. Goes back to Claxton. He's going to have to use his left foot here. Played across towards Hunt. Flicked back into a good area for Wiley, who's on the left wing at the moment. Max Hunt tries to knock it into the box, and it's a booming clearance from Rob Evans. Back into the midfield. Walker tries to knock it over the top. Wiley with the clearance again. Bit of tennis in the midfield, and eventually put to an end by Williams for Leamington. Out for an Alfreton throw right in front of the dugout. And in this second half, if you are just joining us, things are still all square at the Impact Arena. Still goalless, 0-0 at the moment. Alfreton have had the better chances in the first half, and had
there we are.
I'm going to say, Jake Day has been
it's only the 7th time they've nearly suffocated him.
Is certainly a physical force to deal with. That's no surprise to anybody. And Jack Edwards has been the man kind of tasked with that this evening. And it's it's no easy task, so you kind of have to use your body as well as you can, employ the dark arts where possible.
You're trying to put him to sleep all night.
In that instance,
get Edwards in the UFC.
Jake Day, the interference from Edwards is spotted, and the referee awards the free kick on that left-hand side in the Leamington half, in a good position for Liam Waldock to swing a ball in. Hunt stationed at the back post, in it comes from Waldock towards the centre of the box, and Hawkins comes off of his line to make the claim. Thought about launching his team away on the counter there, but holds itself up, waits for his team to make their way back up the field. They'll delay proceedings just a tad. Callum Hawkins now does send the ball forward, left-footed, up towards Adam Lund, who's left it for Max Hunt. I think the bellowing claim for it to be his ball probably from Leamington, to be fair. His header, so powerful from inside his own half, goes straight through to Hawkins in that Leamington goal. And again, he's going to wait before distributing the ball here. I think he's calling it for a few players to move around a little bit, but he will drive it forward very powerfully. Headed away by Hunt. Dropped back into the Leamington half, but quickly back forward, aimed at Farmer. Claxton with the headed clearance. Edwards tries to knock it on. Nathan Newell gets his body in front of that one. Will drop back to Edwards, though. Tries to drive the pass forward, but it was a slightly aimless pass. Laid back to the Alfreton goalkeeper, Sykes Kenworthy, and his clearance finds Jake Day, brings it down with the sole of his boot, and did really well initially, it looked like, to kind of swing his body around whilst sat on the ground and set Abbey free on the left-hand side, but slightly overhit by Jake Day, and out for a Leamington throw just in front of the away dugout. And a chance for Leamington to relieve the pressure just a tad. Send the ball down the line. Edwards is well positioned for it. We'll find him. Headed away by Lund though. Back forward, and Edwards reacted badly to that. Adam Lund has ended up down on the ground holding his face, and the referee forced to pull play to a halt and wave on Ollie, the physio, as Adam Lund's gone down holding his head. It's the precautionary thing to do. But that was a pretty... well, we couldn't really see the challenge from up here in the crowd of bodies, but Edwards has been a man involved in quite a few aerial duels tonight. We obviously saw him penalised for one against Jake Day moments ago. And I think now the referee calls him in for a quick chat, and also the number 19, Anthony Lynn, is getting spoken to, whether that's for his protestations or not. We're unsure, and I think it's going to be a drop ball. The referee blows his whistle, and I mean, he's running away. I think he's going to try and restart
I'm going home.
He's going to restart it. Yeah, my ball, I'm going home. He's going to restart it from where the play was halted, and that was as George Sykes-Kenworthy was clearing the ball away, so just outside of his own box. There's another ball that's just rolled across the pitch. I've got no idea where that's come from, but the fourth official might have got bored, and he's just wellied one across the turf.
Don't move, ref.
Yeah, and well done, mate. It's about 80 yards away from him. But the referee is going to drop the ball back to Sykes-Kenworthy, who dribbles it back into his box and picks it up. I think he was having a quick double check of the rule book with the ref that he's allowed to do that, and he is. The Sykes-Kenworthy will restart play with the ball in his hands. Doesn't quite catch that one right, though. A lot of backspin on that clearance, headed forward by Walker. No problem for Wiley to clear, though, into the path of Abbey, but Shorrock steps in well to intercept. Now Handley looks to go down the line towards Lynn. Wiley, really impressive. I'm not sure how much he knew about it.
I think he did. I knew he knew.
Wiley with a little sort of Cruyff turn-esque knockback to Adam Lund, who set it back for Sykes-Kenworthy, and his clearance aimed at Osborne. He's beaten to it by the Leamington man, Medrano. Straight out for an Alfreton throw, though. He won't mind that. Claxton, the one to take it here from inside the Alfreton half. Down the line, looking for Day. Flicked on. Abbey, though, knocks it into the path of Osborne. Gives it back to Abbey on the right-hand side. Tries the cross, and Evans is there to slam the door shut. Straight out for an Alfreton throw for Adam Lund, right on the corner flag. And as you made the point in the first half, it's an opportunity to chuck one of those really flat-driven ones in. You haven't got to float it. You're able to kind of drive it without too much loop on it. But Adam Lund prepares the throw this time, not from as far as he'd usually like, as the referee's made him aware to not go beyond the advertisement hoardings. But in it comes from Adam Lund towards Wiley. Bounces in the box and cleared away by Leamington. Nathan Newell looks to just not looping it back in the air. Adam Lund with a flick on. Jake Day tries his best to get there, and Leamington forced into the clearance. Out for another Alfreton throw. Oh! Gia Medrano, sorry. Stepping in with the defensive action once again for the breaks. And Alfreton get themselves a substitution ready. Lewis Salmon is stripped and prepared to come on. So that'll be the first change for the Reds. Adam Lund goes short from his throw, catches us out. Goes to Osborne. Adam Lund tries to cross himself towards Hunt at the back post. It's knocked back across the face of goal. And Jake Day tries his best to get something on it. It's still going to drop for Jake Day. Can he sort his feet out in time? Tries to drive the ball back across the face of goal again. Finds its way back to Osborne. He tries looking for Abbey. And eventually rebounds off of a Leamington player and out for another Alfreton throw. Adam Lund prepares this one, but we'll wait a moment as Lewis Salmon prepares to enter the pitch as Alfreton's first change, sent on by Billy Heath, who did receive a red card at the weekend, but is still in the dugout.
Takes a week.
I was going to say, yeah, the suspensions take 7 days to go through, so he's still in the dugout for this match. And there's probably an appeal in place, I'm not sure, but wouldn't surprise me. But Lewis Salmon sent on in place of Jed Abbey. Looks to be a like-for-like swap off the flank. But now the whistle goes from the referee. Adam Lund launches the ball into the box from that throw-in on the right towards Hunt, headed goalwards.
He's got his hand around his
towards
neck.
Hawkins. And he has to jump to claim it, but was fairly uncontested in doing so. Grabs the ball from underneath the crossbar. He's happy to let his team make their way back up the pitch before launching out there himself. Hawkins clears up towards Edwards. Drops to Wiley, who brings it down on his thigh, looks to hook it around the corner for Osborne. Waldock with the header into the path of Osborne, but Shorrock there to intervene and clear. Bounces out for an Alfreton throw right in front of the home dugout. Referee making sure that that decision is in agreement with the linesman. Had to just indicate that that's going to be a throw-in. I'm not sure what else it could be, but he felt the need to gesticulate. That's what it was. Adam Lund will send this throw down the line towards Day. Cleared away by Leamington. Back forward by Hunt. And shanked clearance by Williams. And Adam Lund looks to head it forward. It goes down again from one of these challenges in the air, and it's a booking dished out. No hesitation from the referee as Anthony Lynn receives a yellow card for going in too firmly on Adam Lund in that aerial battle. And Alfreton will have a free kick just beyond the halfway line to the left of the centre circle. Yep. And Leamington are going to respond to the introduction of Lewis Salmon with a change of their own. It'll be their second of the evening. I don't think they're ready to make it just yet, though. Is the referee going to let it happen, or is the free kick going to take place first? I think we're going to see the free kick.
Yeah.
Because the player's not on the halfway line. Stood next to the fourth official. Yeah, he's still being tactically advised. But it will be Nathan Newell stood over this free kick for the left-footed delivery towards the back post, clipped in towards Day, and he heads goalwards, but it's just wide. Didn't quite get the conviction on it that I'm sure he wanted. Straight out for a goal kick for Leamington, but Jake Day getting into the right area, getting his head on that free kick, but unable to find the target. Drifts wide and the scores remain 0-0. And Leamington now will have the opportunity to make that change. The board is lit up. The referee, I think, is going to allow it. The number 19, Anthony Lynn, who just received a booking, withdrawn in place of the number 21, Joseph Clark. The change there for Leamington. Second one for them. Clark, the 36-year-old, coming on, has been at the club since 2017. So joined at the same time in the same year as the number 10 for Leamington, Jack Edwards. But Edwards, as we discussed, left briefly for Solihull Moors. Joe Clark's been there the whole time, and he's a man that can play in midfield, can play at the back. What's just happened? Another ball's gone out of the ground as Pam returns with the ball. This woman does not stop working.
She's like, here, Mr. Official, here's
another one, mate.
Look, she just turned around and she's off.
It looks like Clark is slotting into that midfield role as Lynn, who was up front, kind of vacates a bit of a hole there. So perhaps another little tactical shuffle from the visitors. Nonetheless, that throw from the visitors works its way back out for one for the hosts. Adam Lund sends that one down the line, nodded out of play immediately by Clark with an early introduction. Straight for another Alfreton throw from the home dugout, now in front of the away one. Adam Lund prepares his throw in right next to the visiting coaching staff. In it comes from Lund towards the front post, towards Day. Headed clear only as far as Lund, though. Tries the right-footed cross. It's closed down, but finds its way through to Waldock on the edge of the box. Plays it back to German. Tries to clip it in towards the area for Salmon, who wins his header. The clearance for Leamington, not too difficult. Unchallenged as the defender made the clearance, and Sykes Kenworthy forced to launch that one clear himself. But George Ward with the simple task of heading that one away. And Leamington awarded a free kick, and that gets the biggest cheer of the night from them. Edwards found himself on the ground battling for that ball. A free kick for the visitors just inside their own half to be taken by Evans. On this sort of left-hand side, just to the left of the centre circle. Leamington position themselves on the right-hand side of the pitch. Free kick, though, goes central. Brought down really well into the path of Landers. He tries a shot from outside the box. It's well blocked by Adam Lund. And eventually Sykes Kenworthy forced to clear with his feet. makes its way all the way up to Osborne, but that was a good opportunity for Leamington, as Landers made his way onto that. The top scorer that's still at the club for them this season found his way into space on the edge of the box, looking to add to his tally of 9 goals, but Adam Lund diving in, making that vital interception to divert the shot. It came back out to the edge though, and eventually prodded back to the goalkeeper and cleared away. Straight out for a Leamington throw on the right-hand side, slap bang on the halfway line. Comes forward, head clear by Lund, back forward by Evans. Bit of a karate kick to clear that one away. And Adam Lund gets a shove from Jack Edwards there. I think they're just tired of having to deal with both Adam Lund and Jake Day in these aerial duels, both in the midfield and in the attack. And I won't be surprised to see a yellow card dished out here for Jack Edwards, who's been sort of dueling with Adam Lund the entire match. It's been a really interesting kind of matchup to watch unfold. And the referee is calling over the pair of them to have a discussion with whether this is going to be a warning for the pair or a booking for one or the other. I think the referee, Callum Jones, is just laying down the law between them, perhaps saying one more between the pair of you, and he's going to take action. But we've seen a handshake between the pair, and play should be restarted from that free kick for Alfreton. Sykes Kenworthy standing over this one inside his own half. Thought about going towards the left flank where Osborne was waiting in space, but Osborne tells him no. So Sykes Kenworthy eventually takes this one, slips as he takes it, but it's towards the centre on the edge of the box, finds its way back to Nathan Newell. Brings it across to Osborne on that left flank. Back to Newell. Down the line first time towards Waldock, who's found himself in a lot of space. He's onside. Liam Waldock brings it down inside the area, shoots towards the near post, and it's into the back of the net. Fantastic work from Liam Waldock. But hang on a minute, the referee's blown his whistle. I don't think it's for anything serious. I think he's just telling a Leamington player to get out of his face.
He's been booked, he's booked.
My heart sank for a moment when that whistle was blown, but Liam Waldock hands on the lead. Really good work from Waldock to find himself in space, in behind the defence. He knew he was onside. He wouldn't be waiting there otherwise. Nathan Newell clips the ball down the line. Waldock brings it down inside the area on the left. Has to weave beyond a man before striking low towards the near post. Didn't quite have the power, but it had the accuracy. And it had Callum Hawkins beat, snuck inside at the near post, nestled in the corner. And Alfreton Town at last have the lead here at the Impact, 1-0 to the Reds.
That is such an important goal. It's late on in this game now. Changes are starting to be made. The board's going up. Leamington are going to react straight away with a substitution, but that is fantastic. Liam Waldock absolutely definitely onside. I could see when the ball left his foot, he was just in between the defenders as they were stepping up for Leamington, which just kind of left him in a little space. His first touch was excellent, killed it dead, took the ball into the space towards the goal with his first touch, skipped past one, and that it's a season striker's finish, because usually from that position they go for the far corner, but he just drags it across his body towards that near post, and the keeper takes the gamble. He takes a step early to that far corner. It leaves him off-footed. He has no chance of getting there. That is a huge goal.
Well, 78 minutes gone here at the Impact, and Alfreton Town have that all-important lead, and the ball sent over towards Lewis Salmon as the Reds look to double the advantage. Here is Salmon driving into the box now. But he's just let the ball get away from him, trying to take it down the line towards the byline and drill it back across the face of goal, and it's kind of bubbled up, knocked off his shin pad, I think, and gone straight out for a goal kick. But as Matty mentioned, straight after that goal, Leamington are responding immediately with a change, their third of the evening, as they look to get back into this one, finding themselves behind with just over 10 minutes to play. I think the referee is going to let the change happen here.
So nice as well, that goal going in, seeing what it meant to the supporters behind the goal. They were all up against the wall trying to celebrate with the players. It's been a tough run, and they've remained faithful. They've remained here at the Impact, getting behind them every single game, no matter the result. And after a long wait, this could be it. I jinxed it last time.
Don't say it. Well, in the midst of that, Jack Edwards withdrawn for the visitors in place of Matt Richards for the closing stages of this game. The ball sent forward into the path of Jake Day, tries to bring it down, battling for it. Osborne trying to step in as well, but clearance comes in the end from Joe Clark. all the way over to the right-hand side, and Claxton's in a foot race with Farmer. He thinks he's fouled, so do the Alfreton players, but eventually Claxton does enough to see it out for a throw. And that's quite impressive. Farmer, we've seen, come on as a substitute. Looks to be a quick winger, but Claxton's beating him for pace there. Seen it out for a throw, and he'll launch it down the line himself. Alfreton have got the players on that right-hand side, ready for the ball down the line. Claxton takes it. Won initially by Leamington. Richards chests it down, and they're able to clear. Wiley, right-footed clearance. Tries to buy his team a little bit of time immediately, telling his side to get back into their positions. As the throw comes down the line from Leamington over the head of Landers. Max Hunt lets it bounce before hooking it up the line. It's a great clearance towards Day. He tries to flick it on, might go for it again himself. Eventually finds the feet of Clark, who knocks it back towards his centre half, George Ward. Now his partner Evans goes back to Ward again. Clark makes himself an option, as Leamington might have gone to something of a back three here. Evans on the left of that back three. Plays it infield to Landers, who has space.
Well
German
done.
steps in really well. Uses his physicality to win it back. Lays it to Nathan Newell, who looks to drive forward himself. Tries to clip it into the path of Day, whose flick on is won, but cleared away by Evans. Hunt heads it back forward towards the gambling Lewis Salmon, but the Leamington clearance is a good one. Headed back forward by Claxton. Back forward again by Leamington. Back forward again by Claxton. Cleared forward again by Leamington, and eventually that head tennis put to an end as Lewis Salmon went in firmly on Gia Medrano, and a booking for Lewis Salmon. Seems a little harsh on his first foul, but I think Salmon knew he wasn't going to be able to win the header. Just tried to throw his body in the way of it, and in doing so was clattered into Medrano. And we are going to see the physio waved on here for Leamington, although I don't know if he's realised it. So Ollie's come on instead. Not often you see that. But just in case he is in some serious discomfort from the landing there, as well as the collision, Ollie is on to tend to his injury. He's holding his knee. And Ollie...
Lionel's being quizzed.
I was going to say, in the interest of sportsmanship, seeing to the Leamington player there. I mean, the Leamington physio didn't clock that he'd been waved on by the referee, and about 10 seconds passed, and Ollie's just kind of taken it upon himself to do it himself. So he's tending to the Leamington player. Maybe he's going to take a little bit longer than he needs to here.
Yeah, he's going to do very, very thorough checks, I'm sure.
Yeah. He's also giving him some water, which is nice. And I think Callum Hawkins has responded to some taunts behind the Alfreton goal, has responded with some satisfaction that they've got a reaction out of the goalkeeper. And I think he might have nibbled. Judging by that reaction, he might have nibbled on whatever the Alfreton fans have been goading him with.
They've been fishing.
Yeah, they've reeled it in. And Callum Hawkins going to have to keep his head here. But Rob Evans standing over this free kick for Leamington. Quentin tries to get Ollie's attention. Uninterested. And Medrano is waved back on by the referee. So he looks all good to continue. Here is Hawkins now on the edge of his own box. Looks to go direct towards George Ward, who's playing up front momentarily. But it drops in the midfield for Adam Lund. Tries to turn it around the corner for Osborne. Liam Waldock's making the run into space. Osborne hesitates. Eventually does play it to Waldock, though. It's still a good pass. Goes one more to Salmon. German goes outside of him. Salmon shoots.
Finish!
Good save by the goalkeeper.
Finish!
Jake Day with the shot, and he somehow can't find the back of the net. He can't believe it. The Alfreton players can't believe it. Jake Day thinks it's a corner.
It is a corner.
And he's, well, it looked like he's kind of thrown his sort of body in to try and get the shot in, so much so that he's basically done a front flip as he's shot. His body's taken him over. The momentum puts him on the ground. He can't believe it's not a corner. We can't believe it's not 2-0. Leamington can't believe their luck that one hasn't found its way into the back of the net. Salmon's shot was good.
Oh, get it under. Someone
but
tell him.
eventually, Hawkins made a good reactionary save, but pushed it back into a dangerous area. Jake Day gambled on it, and just somehow couldn't find the back of the net and add that second goal. Hawkins carries the ball out of his own box. He wants his players to step up. And eventually Callum Hawkins does send it long. Wiley with a powerful header away. Bounces out for a Leamington throw on the halfway line. Fourth official with a bit of gamesmanship as he's left the ball there as he's trying to catch it to run through for the Leamington manager.
Where's he going? Where's he going?
Launched it back at him. The Leamington throw down the line, cleared away emphatically by the Alfreton back line. It's going to bounce straight out for another one, which Ward launches back to his goalkeeper as quickly as he possibly can, as Alfreton prepare another sub. Really nice pass across the back line for Leamington. Rob Evans carries it forward from the back into the feet of Medrano. Now Walker. Lewis Salmon comes in with the challenge and he buys the foul. You can hear the contact as he stepped in. You can hear the boots collide with each other. And it's a simple free kick for the referee to award. And Alfreton now, perhaps, yeah, I was going to say, because it looked like Jake Day's shot did go wide. We're just hearing that the players are appealing to the linesman and asking how that wasn't a penalty on Jake Day, as he was upended as he looked to strike. I mean, there was certainly something off about his momentum, but Jake Day puts in another good shift this evening, and he is withdrawn in place of Jerry McDonough in Alfreton's second change of the evening.
Yeah, I feel for Jake. He should have, he could have got his goal there. He's had to wait a long time, all the way since Farsley Celtic. He got his last goal. He's a consistent, good performer, although he hasn't found the back of the net in the kind of last month and a half.
Yeah. Well, but in the interest of the result, I think it makes sense for Jerry McDonough to come on, provide some fresh legs up top, be even more of a handful. He had a little cameo away at Chorley on the weekend, and he's been back into the squad for a week or so now. And this ball from Sykes Kenworth, he is straight towards McDonough. Tries to win the header not once but twice. Comes out for the Leamington man, the substitute Farmer. Knocked over to the right-hand side. Shorrock has space. Osborne comes across, forces him backwards to Clark, goes back to Shorrock on the right-hand side, slips on it. Osborne tries to step in, but Leamington maintain the ball. Ward knocks it beyond Jerry McDonough, turns on it 3 times before knocking it back to Hawkins. And Alfreton now with bodies behind the ball. Looks like something of a back 5 now, with Lewis Salmon having to occupy Medrano on this left-hand side. The ball attempted to be played through by Rob Evans, but too much steam on it. Straight out for a goal kick. And out for a goal kick it goes for Sykes Kenworthy. And he's going to take as long as he will like for restarting play here. And the good thing again now about Alfreton having these changes on the bench, they've got 3 that they could possibly make. And Billy Heath knows that he's got those kind of up his sleeve. If the running of the clock becomes more of a necessity, he can just kill the game a little bit with the new rule this season that you can stop the game 5 times to make all 5 changes. As Jerry McDonough receives the ball from Sykes Kenworth, he had the ball pinned into him. He did well to lay it off to Salmon, but he couldn't quite get the ball under control as Leamington looked to switch the ball from left to right for Williams, but Newell able to step in ahead of him, lay it back off to his goalkeeper, who clears towards McDonough once again. McDonough brings it down, tries to prod it across for Liam Waldock. Osborne goes inside back to McDonough. Does really well to just sort of take the pace out of it there. Goes back to Osborne. Great feet from Sam Osborne. Brings it beyond his man towards the touchline now. Tries to knock it beyond Shorrock one more time and then blocks the clearance after being dispossessed. And I think it has gone out just to the side of the corner flag to make it a throw rather than a goal kick, which is a result for Alfreton. A chance to pen in the opposition from this set piece out. Not long to go whatsoever. Won't be long until we see the board for added time in this one. Alfreton Town, if you are just joining us, lead by a 1-0 at the Impact and are seeking out something that they've waited on for a while. I'm not going to say any specific words because we're getting superstitious now. Hawkins sends the ball long, headed forward by Hunt really well. Bounces through to Clark at the back for Leamington. He's got Evans to his left, passes it across to his centre-back partner, and we will have 5 added minutes to play here at the Impact. 5 minutes for Alfreton to hang on for that all-elusive win at the Impact. Max Hunt with the clearance. Brought down by Clark. Heavy touch though, and Sam Osborne gets there first. Clark swung at the ball, and it was a case of he's either going to take the ball or he's going to take the man. Osborne nipped in there first, and he took the man. Sam Osborne goes down clutching his stomach, and a booking brandished for the Leamington substitute, Joseph Clark. Sam Osborne back to his feet now, and this is just another chance for the clock to be ran by another minute or so. We are seeing Solodemi over on the far side out warming up, if he is to be a late sort of insurance substitute for Alfreton, just in an aid to kill the game, provide a defensive body if necessary. But I wouldn't be too shocked if Billy Heath leaves it as is for the remaining 4 minutes. Doesn't want to change the shape. Max Hunt sends that one over to Osborne. I think he knew he was offside, so he's happy to leave that one for the throw rather than the free kick. Smart decision from the winger. I think he wanted the pass a tiny bit earlier, but knowing that he's offside, he's not interfering with play if he just watches the ball roll out for a throw. And
oh, that's a dodgy one for the keeps.
That throw-in is thrown back into play, straight to the goalkeeper for Hawkins. It was a really dodgy throw from Ward, and it's eventually, I say dealt with by the Leamington goalkeeper Hawkins, but a shanked clearance is the kindest way I could describe it, but eventually Leamington managed to get it clear for a throw, but Alfreton do win it back swiftly. Salmon across to Osborne on that left-hand side. He finds himself in the box, waits for the shot. Does he have eyes for goal? Lays it across to Waldock. I think he's got eyes for the corner flag. Tries to play it off his man. Still has the ball, Waldock, and eventually is adjudged to have used too much of his body up against the Leamington player who's hit the deck in the corner, and it will be a free kick.
Where are you going, son? Referee's just bodied him. Get back.
Hawkins.
Get back, Shadrach.
Hawkins has picked the ball up to carry the ball forward to drop it down for a free kick. And the referee's just put his arm out like a rugby stop and just put him back for the free kick, which is taken by Hawkins. Nathan Newell doesn't get that headed clearance right, out for a Leamington throw right in front of the Alfreton dugout, in front of Billy Heath, who is making sure that the referee knows exactly where that ball went out. He's saying it's right here. Don't let him go any further. Rob Evans goes over to take this throw, who I mentioned had a good throw about 70 minutes ago, and he hasn't taken a throw in since then. And now I think he's finally going to make me look like a bit less of an idiot as Rob Evans prepares this throw. Has he got a long one like Lundy? Does. Into the box it goes, but cleared away by Max Hunt at the front post. Made sure that one was his. But it bounces out for essentially a replica. Another throw. And Solly, or a goalkeeping coach, who's been handing the ball back to Adam Lund for all his throw-ins, made sure just to show absolutely no interest in the ball bouncing his way that time. As Evans looks to set up the throw once again for Leamington. A last gasp opportunity for the Breaks to get an equaliser here. The reverse fixture ended in a draw, with Alfreton scoring from a throw-in.
You've got to go
In the 95th minute in that one, and Jerry McDonough forced to put a challenge in as the throw-in went short, and it bounces out for a Leamington corner. And I think Rob Evans is waving forward his goalkeeper on the pitch, but I think instead it's going to be a centre-back. Hawkins takes that kind of Manuel Neuer position on the halfway line. Leamington gambling every other body forward. In comes the corner towards Sykes Kenworthy. Makes the confident claim and drops down to the ground, to the surprise of nobody at the Impact. It's all for in hunt of this all-elusive win at the Impact in 2025. Surely it's got to happen now. Only a couple of minutes of stoppage time left to play. Leamington really haven't threatened the Alfreton goal at all in this second half. George Sykes Kenworthy sends that one long as far forward as he can to the instruction of Billy Heath. It bounces through into the Leamington box for Hawkins to claim. He's going to waste no time distributing himself forward. The header won by Hunt, out for a Leamington throw. And this may be it. Evans is going to come over to take it, as I was mentioning on that previous throw-in. This fixture was equalised in the 95th minute from a long throw-in, but that was for Alfreton. Jed Abbey got on the end of an Adam Lund throw, flicked on by Max Hunt to salvage a draw away from home. Leamington, will they recreate the feat? Flicked on at the front post, they got halfway, but it's caught by Sykes Kenworthy. Goes down to the ground once again with the ball in his hands, and the referee is double-checking his watch every moment. I'm just watching him.
Any danger, ref?
Hoping that he checks his watch and then puts the whistle to his lips. Sykes Kenworthy. Surely this has got to be it. He's waved on by the referee. Takes the goal kick.
Yes!
And there is the full-time whistle. Alfreton Town finally win at home in 2025 at the Impact Arena. It's Liam Waldock's all-important goal that put the Reds ahead on 78 minutes, brought it inside his man, inside the area. The goalkeeper gambled on that far post finish, but it went to the near post, and Waldock, decisive in his finish, found the back of the net, and Alfreton had to defend resolutely across the 90 minutes. And in that added time period especially, there were balls being launched into the box, but nothing that Alfreton couldn't deal with. Sykes Kenworthy coming off his line confidently to claim a few throw-ins, and Alfreton Town, at long last, finally have 3 points, not only for the first in a while, but finally in the year of 2025, Alfreton win at home.
That it just means so much. It's been so long since we've seen a win at home, and it just made no sense to me how this run could go on so long, because we nearly went a whole 365 days undefeated at home in league matches, and you know, it was one of them where we literally, if we the game we lost against Spennymoor, which broke that record for us, that made it so it wouldn't be a year. That would, if we'd got over that game, it would have been a whole year undefeated at home.
Yeah.
And since that loss, the wheels just came off. We couldn't buy a win at home, and I think now that's a chip off the lads' shoulders.
100%.
To get 3 points, and as well, that was our game in hand, and that guides us to a pretty steady 13 points from the drop. We take over Southport. We go into 17th position. Yeah. As well, Radcliffe got beat tonight as well, which is
good news for us.
Favourable for us, yeah, as they sit in 19th position. Obviously, any and every team around us, we're hoping drops points at the moment. But that, I mean, it just felt like it was coming. We needed it. We absolutely were desperate for that. We were gagging for it. We've been going out and we've been putting on good performance. The first half against Darlington, we were absolutely fantastic. At the game against Scunthorpe, I thought we were really unlucky. I thought we were good. We had the chances. We just couldn't find the back of the net. Nothing was dropping. Oxford, I thought we could have gone on to win that game when we got the equaliser. They were down to 10 men. We hit the crossbar in that game later on. We've been knocking on that door to no answer, and we've just kept going, and you know, I've heard Billy say a couple of times, it's one of them. We're just in them. We're in one of them spells, and you've just got to keep chugging along. You've got to keep trying to get through it, and eventually the form will turn. And I'm hoping this is it now. This is the start. We've got that chip off our shoulder. We've got that win at home in 2025. And I hope now we go to Marine on Saturday and we do the double over them in the league and we start putting some proper points on the board. However, we'll leave it there for tonight. We will not be at Marine on Saturday, unfortunately. Won't be travelling. I've got other things on, which means we can't be there. But thank you very much for tuning in tonight. Absolutely massive victory.
Huge.
And we will see you. I'm trying to think. Hang on. Let me just look at the fixtures before we go, because I am. So we have Marine.
Yeah.
We will be at the Rushall game here at home, but then I will miss the.
We break for Easter.
We break for Easter, and usually I'd stay for Easter, but I'm going to Lanzarote, which is
fancy.
Sorry, guys. So I'll miss the Peterborough Sports game, and I'll miss the Curzon game away. Yeah. Which means we should be back for. We might even miss the Buxton game because I'll be at home. I'm trying to think. I come back on the I miss the Buxton games 2 days after I come home, but we will be back for the final game of the season.
We will, the final day.
So we'll be at the next game after Marine, which is Rushall, and then Radcliffe, due to kind of other things being on. We will miss that kind of Peterborough Sports, Curzon, Ashton and Buxton gauntlet. But we will be back for Radcliffe away after the Rushall game. But thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. We've done it.
Finally.
We've done it. And we will see you when we see you.
Took a while.